exactly where they're at in their cycle, what they need to play next to break through, and Ian was always just, or I should say Lucas was maybe like a half step ahead every time.
Yeah, I mean, even at the very end there, it seems like the minions just staying alive a little bit longer, allowing the Hog defense to be a little bit easier with the Evo Cannon, and then focusing all of his elixir on making sure to get Miner and Poisons on tower.
Yeah, Miner Poison over and over and over again. Mighty Miner was never there to be able to catch that Miner because he was finding himself needing to use it on offense over and over again. And Juicy, is that strictly a matchup conversation? I mean, it was still very, very close.
Yeah, I mean, when you look at a matchup like this, we'll show you guys the deck here very shortly. The Earthquake for the Cannon, you might think, wow, okay, that's got to be good for Hog EQ. But the true case here is he has the Barbell to control Firecracker. The Evo Ghost is the best evolution in the game currently. And also, Lucas just did a great job, like you said, understanding how Hog works, understanding when the pre-Earthquakes are going to come, and using the Skeletons and Ice Spirit to push the Hog over to the anti-Earthquake cannon placement.
The minions have been so exceptional all weekend long. Obviously, the increase in range, but just the inability to get on top of them so often. We saw that, like you just pointed out. Ian was struggling to get them off the board so his Hog break through, right? You get that little bit of extra DPS from the minions. All of a sudden, that EQ early on the cannon doesn't really matter, and Lucas recognized that. And I also really loved his Ice Spirit minions pushes opposite side because it baited out the Firecracker where Ian didn't want it.
True. And then once again, this is why I just love Clash Royale League.
I know.
Because you know, Lucas knows that the only way for Ian to clear the minions is with the Firecracker. So sometimes, not only reactively, but we saw predictive Skeletons to the bridge to block, predictive Barbell over the river to make sure those minions are good to go on DPS for defense.
And I gotta say, even though Lucas does take game number 1, it was still very, very close. Both these guys playing essentially perfect Clash Royale, Juice. And here we go. Game number 2 coming your way. Can Ian keep his debut alive, or will Lucas continue on in the lower bracket?
Man. Okay, Ian just going straight for the aggression. I like that. And we talked about yesterday, Goblin Hut, not really what you want to see defense-wise.
Yeah, not my favorite thing to run into a Goblin Hut, or I mean have a Goblin Hut for that. Mortar going to clean it up pretty cleanly there. Going to get some Goblins out to protect that Mortar. And now a Mortar shot is locked on the tower for at least a couple shots. AQ has to come down.
Okay, one shot is through though. And the Boss Bandit, will the ability, okay, the ability does get down from the Queen of Time, but this Boss Bandit is still very healthy.
This looks, it has pieces of the deck that we saw Mo run yesterday with Skeleton Barrel. We saw the Overwhelm that he put on against Sandbox. That was the game where Mo took 0 damage at all. The only person to do it at all yesterday, which was absolutely incredible. Lucas here. What are we seeing here at the bottom of the screen, Juice? What do you think?
I got you. I'm pretty sure it's going to be the Drill. A lot of the time with Evo Snowball, you will see Drill as the main win condition. Matchup-wise, I actually kind of like it for Lucas. You know, if Lucas can get his cycle correct, have the Queen for the Mortars, and as well as use the Valkyrie efficiently on defense, he has a really good shot. But Ian is trying to basically abuse the fact that his starting hand was bad and continue to apply pressure while his cycle's messed up.
Yeah, and this is the deck that we saw Mo run yesterday. I had a little bit of fun with it, of course, being a new Mortar deck I haven't seen out in the world yet. The synergy between the Boss Bandit and the Skeleton Barrel is really interesting. We're going to see it right here. You usually want the barrel in front of the tank unit, but instead you can go Boss Bandit up front. You can use the ability, get the Skeleton Barrel in. Wow. And Boss Bandit goes a little too far back. High Berserker there. A nice play by Lucas.
Wow. Okay, the Fire Spirit is going to tank. Evo Valkyrie, wow. Oh my gosh, I keep saying wow, but this is just, this is so amazing. But really nice from Lucas to kind of delay on that Valkyrie to try to get more value out of it, and Ian kind of playing into his hand with that gang.
And we finally see the first little lick of damage come through against this deck. As we said, Mo took 0 yesterday, and now Ian just takes a little bit from that Evo Valkyrie.
And Evo Snowball is in cycle, so we are going to see that front drill placement, but Ian is on top of it. He waits, plays the Barbell instead, and prevents the Evo Snowball from getting any value.
I mean, Juice, that's a situation where you just got to hover, right? I mean, I know you want to predict, but then if you predict with the Evo Snowball, that's worse than having to use it on defense.
Evo Skeleton Barrel in cycle. Boss Bandit almost connects. Will Lucas have enough elixir?
And Boss Bandit dashes.
Wow!
With the Skellies! Boss Bandit at the bridge!
Lucas is low in elixir. He gets the Valkyrie down barely in time to stay in this match. But wow, insane pressure from Ian continuing to push the advantage.
The Boss Bandit is such an elixir leech when you talk about having to play against it, Juicy. If you don't defend it perfectly, you must get it down to stop that dash. And Lucas hasn't been able to get back on offense in about a minute, and now the mortar locks again.
The mortar is connecting, and the Boss Bandit is protecting. It's dashing every which way, and the mortar continues to send volleys at this tower. Boss Bandit connects.
We're getting our first game 3 of the day. Excellent play from Ian.
Wow.
The Boss Bandit, the mortar connects. The Boss Bandit protects. Absolute poetry from Juicy J up here in the booth. And Ian and this crowd are ready to go to game number 3.
I'm getting literal chills right now as I see Ian coming back from that game 1. The crowd just roaring with every mortar connection, with every Boss Bandit play. Unbelievable stuff from both of these players. And we're going to be looking at the decks here soon.
Yeah, Molite got to feel a little, him and Alan have to feel pretty good about that deck. It's been run twice today. Very little damage has come through. The pressure is just absolutely insane. You talk about having the E-Wiz to slow, stun, reset. It's such a great utility card. But then the rest of it all combined, the synergy of it is absolutely amazing. You get a late mortar down, Boss Bandit comes back and protects in front of it. As we talked about, Boss Bandit at the bridge, barrel behind. Boss Bandit takes for a second, uses the ability after the dash, then the barrel's tanking, then the Boss Bandit's taking for the skellies.
Yeah.
It's just absolute incredible synergy.
Yeah, okay, I do want to make a little asterisk in what I said earlier. So I didn't realize in game 1, you can see Lucas use poison, in minor poison. And for this drill deck, I assumed it was poison, but instead it was rocket. That rocket instead of poison really allowed Ian to continue to apply pressure, use his mortar and his Electwiz to his advantage. And Lucas really just couldn't control the mortar, even with the Archer Queen.
Yeah, it's one of those things when you are playing mortar and you pile everything up at the bridge playing against poison, that's a way to bait it out from being on top of your tower, but it completely stops your offensive push. That's something we were talking about in this game. We're going to see the replay here. Just no way for Lucas to get back on offense. You see there the dash into the hut, the barrel breaks, the high snowball misses, Bandit dashes on tower, tanking for the skellies, and then another Boss Bandit immediately. This is great by the replay booth, by the way. Thank you guys so much. Absolutely brilliant pull here, and great plays from Ian. And even here, Juicy, it's still wreaking havoc.
I know. Yeah, you can see the Boss Man at the bridge with the mortar. That last mortar connection was what really sealed the deal for the game. And honestly, the craziest part of that whole interaction was after kind of the missed snowball in the skeleton barrel, Lucas tried to clean up with the Fire Spirit, but at 1 HP, the Boss Bandit took the Fire Spirit out, allowing for the skeleton to continue to connect on tower.
She's so tanky, she's so hard to control, and as I said, an absolute elixir leech. We saw it all throughout that entire game. If you do not lock it down instantly, if you do not have the perfect defense, or if they predict how you're going to defend, all of a sudden, you find yourself spending 2, 3, 4 more elixir than you'd planned, and just no way to get back on offense. Lucas is going to have to figure out how to do that. In game number 3, an elimination game, one of these guys will go home, and one will move on.
Ice Spirit the bridge for me, and he has not been waiting for his opponent in any of these games. Immediate Hog, immediate Mortar, immediate Ice Spirit the bridge. He wants to get in the gameplay. He wants to start figuring out what his opponent's using so he can begin to outplay.
Guards plus Ice Wiz could mean Mortar.
Yeah, guards, Ice Wiz, E-Spirit. Mortar's an option. With the E-Spirit, it can be Grave.
I was just going to say, with the E-Spirit coming out.
Interesting. Yeah, roll a Giant then.
And Royal Giant going up against Control. We saw a similar situation. Look at Ian looking out at the crowd, talking to the crowd, literally in the middle of the match, talking to the crowd. This was a similar matchup to what we saw yesterday.
Yeah.
When we saw, it was
I know
the end of the day. Yeah, I think it was
Monk
Sam.
RG versus
It was
Tesla.
Sam.
I think it was Sandbox, yeah. And the question is, does Lucas have the lightning? I think the lightning is definitely what you want in this sort of matchup so you can help break through those Teslas. And the fireball is just really not going to do the job.
So Ian going complete control here. Lucas going back to relative comfort, being one of the better RG players out there in the world. We'll see if he can figure out the equation to break through. Yesterday, Sam could not figure it out. Sandy played perfect D.
Delivery dropping down. Evil Ice Spirit just freezes everything. And that's why we saw Ian drop the Ice Spirit the bridge first play.
Yep.
Getting that Evil Ice Spirit cycle to time it perfectly for when the RG Evo will be there. He's able to really control the defense.
You don't know what to play, cycle your cheapest Evo. I learned that from watching Juicy J.
Shout out to Andrew, dude. Always making me smile on stage. And E-Spirit here going to continue to apply pressure. And I guess the biggest thing to I really think about here is if I'm Lucas, if I'm the RG player, how am I going to break through? We really saw, Sandbox really lock it down in yesterday's game. And I think Lucas knows best. RG the back.
I was just going to say, I think what you got to try to do is start getting those double RGs out. Ian's going to take that rocket damage, no problem here in single. 25-78, lowest tower on the board. Lucas getting a little bit more in with that Monk Reflection, bringing that tower down to 27-41, and a miner goes to the back. Yep.
Monk gonna drop. He wants to prevent any more rockets on tower, using that ability to his advantage. RG does get one hit from Lucas, starting to even up this match.
And a high Tesla here to maybe help support the Monk. And one of the things about losing that 3-card cycle is these RG decks, it's so much harder to get 2 RGs out on the board. And Evo RG coming in. Ian spending everything he can, but that RG does retarget.
Wow. Oh, wait, the Monk is being paid for. The Monk gets the power on tower. That is game-changing damage. Even with the Fireball to prevent breakthrough, he needed that to happen.
And a huge slap, I guess, from the Monk. A chop. 2065 to 2186.
Icewiz does pick up the miner. Insane. Snowball's going to try to push everything away, and the miner does start to connect.
2034, 1985 to 2065, neck and neck. Lucas cycles his non-Evo RG to the left-hand side as another miner comes in. Guards close enough to turn around.
2 monks on the board now, trying to break through. Icewiz plus Log trying to get rid of the guards as well. This Evo Tesla continues to be a defensive menace.
And that delivery, I believe, hits the Icewiz and the RG. RG on the left gets a shot. Now RG on the right coming in. Evo RG, Tesla comes in just in time.
My goodness, we are heading into triple extra overtime. And 5
the guards! Oh!
Knight barely gets down for the guards. 3 Knights on the board for a split second. The Knight gets a little bit of chip here, and Lucas starting a Monk in the back, once again trying to prevent rocket value.
1784, 2065. Lucas needs to make something happen in the next 50 seconds, but having a tough time doing it. Ian doesn't even need a rocket cycle.
Guard's a little bit late. That could be game-changing damage to the miner connecting. Lucas needs the double RG to break through. And wow, and he tries to predict the Monk with the rocket, but he doesn't get it.
I don't know.
This is Lucas's time.
Yeah, maybe going for a little bit too much, but probably recognizing he can get back to that second Tesla, no problem. There it is. Now we need another RG, but Lucas can't find a way to break through.
Wow, another Monk at the bridge. 20 seconds on the clock. We'll see another RG soon.
He's got to play defense on the left, Juicy. He can't just let it go. E-Spirit has to come down and the guards. He can't support the RG.
The rocket does too much damage, and there it goes.
Can he get the prediction? Can he get it?
Oh! The rocket does not go! It does not get deflected!
Almost gets it! Lucas knows he missed it by a split second, and he's sent home by a millisecond!
Oh my goodness! Ian in the crowd, erupting, ecstatic. The energy is there. The prediction from Lucas, literally a millisecond away from sending that rocket back to his opponent's tower.
And that is a moment that's going to keep Lucas up at night until CRL 2026. Absolutely astounding gameplay. AC, tell us what the fan favorite has to say.
Okay, congratulations on that. Wait, one more time. Give it up for Ian! Oh my goodness. Okay, obviously, that was the game of the tournament so far. I mean, talk to us about 30 seconds left, 20 seconds left, 10 seconds left. Talk to us about those final seconds.
Dude, honestly, those Evo RGs were so scary, man. Like, I knew I had a good matchup, but those Evo RGs, they kept on knocking back my guards, and I didn't have, like, a log to push back the RG. I had to put Snowball in there, but, you know, it worked out in the end. And, dude, I sent a prayer before I got on stage here, and that prayer might have overwritten that Monk's prayer just in time, so.
It clearly worked out for you. I can't stress it enough. That was so much fun. Okay, talk to us. Was that fun to play or just for the viewers?
Oh, I mean, it was pretty fun to play. I was pretty nervous, you know, at the end, and like this one monk, it got like a shove on my tower. I put the knight a little bit to the side, but besides that, I'm really happy with how I played, and it was pretty nice. I didn't expect to do well after getting destroyed in game 1 with my main deck.
Yeah. But you were able to recover it. Congratulations again. Hey, one more time. Give it up. Good stuff, good stuff.
And AC clearly is excited as everyone in the crowd barely able to ask those questions because he's so elated. You love to see it.
Yeah, we hear a huge chant in the crowd. I mean, this is unbelievable stuff. I still cannot believe that Lucas predicted the exact spot that Ian was going to send that rocket at the end. And it literally milliseconds away from the ability going off.
I know, I mean, it's like the ability was there, but I guess it wasn't active yet by the time the rocket came down. Literally milliseconds. And here you see, Juicy, talk me through this matchup. One thing I was going to mention, I'm so glad Ian did, was yesterday the log was a factor. Today it was Snowball. Yeah. Obviously not as effective, but still able to get the job done.
I know. I completely agree. The log would be so much better in this matchup for Ian to deal with the guards to push the RG back, but he still utilized the slow from the snowball in order to gain just a little bit of an edge on the RG to prevent those connections left and right on tower. And then finally, the big thing to talk about here is the fireball. Lucas with the fireball instead of lightning.
Yeah.
Lightning can be more damage on tower. It's better at cleaning off the Teslas. The fireball just didn't get the job done that Lucas needed.
Maybe worried about something like Zappies or a building on top of that. You know, the Zappies have been so impactful all weekend long. Picks the wrong card, hits the ability a second late, and that's the end of his run here in 2025. What an astounding start to the day that we have had. As you can see, it was sweeps all day long until we got to that game. A great best of 3. Ian stays alive and moves on. Sandbox and Ian in the lower bracket. Adriel, Pedro, Sub, and Mo. It's time for us to go visit everyone that hasn't lost yet in the upper bracket. And this is where things are going to get absolutely crazy, Juice. We heard a lot of people saying Adriel taking the MVP of day number 1. Obviously, a lot of people talking about Mo being the MVP of the tournament as he is. And this is going to be such a great next couple of matches. Mo Light versus Sub. But before we go there, let's take a look at what we just saw once again.
Let's go! Let's go!
我觉得最能从观众身上吸收能量的选手应该是法老。
Diría que Mohamed Lai porque viene como candidato a ganar el título.
Chinese qualifier players because I think they have the most passionate fans.
I don't know players much. I focus on myself.
That is probably OP Sam. I feel like he's the one that can take the biggest advantage out of this.
팬들한테 가장 인기 많을 것 같은 선수는 당연히 저인 것 같습니다. 그 부분에 대해서는 자신 있습니다.
O jogador que eu acho que vai se destacar, eu acho que vai ser o Ian, por ele, obviamente, estar jogando em casa. Então acho que o Ian.
やはりアメリカのイアン選手。
É o Ian 77.
Ian 77.
Either Mohamed Light or Ian. Ian with those big arms is pretty massive.
I mean, hopefully myself. I'll have to see, but I feel like I could drive the crowd to my advantage maybe. So we'll see about that.
57 top 10 finishes on ladder. 13 monthly final first places and 2 World Championships. You know who it is, Mohamed Light! Last year, this player at World Finals sent home a world champion. Today, he wants to beat another one. Put your hands together for Sub!
And you might as well call these guys the untouchables because that's exactly what they were yesterday, AC. We saw Mo Light come out and just do some work there against Sandbox. Of course, I've mentioned it a couple times, the only person to not take any damage in any set game all day yesterday. And then Sub on the other side of it, while it wasn't quite as dominant, it still felt completely one-sided. Frontier Guard came out, you know, did everything he could. It felt like he was staying in it, and then all of a sudden it felt like halfway through each of the games, Sub goes, all right, I know what you're gonna do, I know how you're gonna defend it, and I know how I'm gonna win. And then he did exactly that. This is gonna be an exciting rematch of course, the Kalalis Gold Finals, where Mo 3-0'd Sub. Are you sad that I said that? Did I take that from you?
Yo, I know you didn't just talk to his coach. All right, I do have to give a special little shout out to Mohamed Light's coach. He's obviously a fantastic coach. I mean, he's been doing it for 3, 4, 5 years. You can hear him in the crowd whenever you'd like to. And yes, I mean, this is going to be an incredible set. Not enough respect given to Sub, but we have understood, we know at this point that he is one of those players that can stand against him.
2 number 2 monthly finals finishes, and of course a number 4 world finals finish. Doesn't quite stack up to 2 world final championships, and of course all the stats that Rich just dropped on stage. I mean, the accolades continue to just impress year upon year, match upon match, tournament upon tournament. Mo Light just seems to be the golden child of Clash Royale, and he continues to hold that crown. And we'll see if Sub can get a little bit of revenge, but it's going to be really tough to do.
Yeah, I mean, obviously, whenever you see that Mohamed Light is even on your side of the bracket, you get upset. So I know you have to be, you have to be upset about that. Let's take a look at the predictions because we need to see, you know, there could be some different answers.
Yeah.
Probably not. 87% to Mohamed Light, 13% for Sub. I mean, it feels like it makes sense. Obviously, you're not going to be voting against Mohamed Light, but this really is a 70-30. Sub does have a chance.
Absolutely, Sub has a chance, and he's proved it time and time again. You know, like I said, in that Kalalis Cup Gold Edition, it was a 3-0 in the best of 5, so obviously trying to have a better performance than that. Let's see what we said here on the desk. Josh, what'd you go with?
What did I go with? I went with Mohamed Light, okay, and Andrew, what did you
I imagine
go with?
I probably went with about the same thing. I'm thinking Juicy and Rich did the exact same. Look, we all know that Sub could win this match. It's just you never bet against Mo. It never really works out. Other than what we've joked about in the past, maybe the first match of the tournament. But then even then in the lower bracket, you know he can always go on a run. Sub's a guy, though, that is able to keep the nerves contained. You know, he's a guy that's very calm, cool, collected. We saw that yesterday, and it really worked out well against someone that was as aggressive as Frontier Guard. Now you need to do it against the person that knows when to be aggressive, when to be defensive, and has every interaction in the game locked down better than anyone else that's ever played the game.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to make a Clash Royale quiz with like 100 of the hardest interactions that only the top 0.001%, you just know Mohamed Light's getting 98 out of 100. He's getting that A+ every single time. Obviously, one of the most brilliant players, one of the most talented players. And let's get into our first game, Sub, Mohamed Light. Game number 1.
Day 2, can Sub pull off the upset? It's gonna be tough.
Mohamed Light, the inventor of wall breakers, split behind the King Tower, and that's what we're going to see. I think he introduced that in one of the other World Finals. It's just one of those things. He'll find stuff that nobody else is willing to.
And really like to see Momo go in control here. It looks like it's going to be kind of a mirror matchup, and Mo already getting some good damage on tower. You can see that's already getting in Sub's head.
Yeah, Sub quite annoyed that he was giving up that damage. The Mighty Miner walks incorrectly, and it allows the opposing Mighty Miner for Muhammad Light to get some chip damage on the tower. Somewhat big push, but Muhammad Light is going to clean that up easily and only take a few hundred damage.
And this is incredibly similar, if not the exact deck that Mo was able to go 80 and 4 in 4 separate 20-win challenges. He did it with the Ice Wiz, Evo Skelly's Miner Wallbreakers control deck. And that's going to be a nice ability there from Sub, and a nice kite as well.
Yeah, gorgeous play from Sub. He's obviously very, very talented. Gets the right pop from the Mighty Miner, and then distracts with the wall breakers. Perfection from Sub.
23-28 to 28-56. Mo Light firmly in the lead. Not happy about how close that Mighty Miner is because of that right there. A bit of a waste of a Goblin Hut, but still going to require a response.
And we see him give like a slight smile just because he knew that the right Spear Goblin was going to go in front. It was going to allow the left Spear Goblin to get a little bit of chip. It just immediately he understood what he was seeing.
Well, they know who's boss. And Sub goes to the back here. Completely uncontested Miner. See if Mo wants to punish back.
A very beautiful prediction right there. The bar barrel as well. You know that Muhammad Light was just ready for that, but those minions are going to clean up nicely. I mean, even though he got predicted, it really wasn't the end of the world.
And we see Mighty Miner in the back, cycled on the left-hand side. Now, Miner goes to the inside with the poison. That is an exceptional poison. Taking out the Evo Skellies, taking out the Goblin Hut, and now we find Sub in the lead. First time so far in this game.
Yeah, Miner distracting the Spirit Goblins, having them set up on the right side, and Minion was able to take that out with the hope of the poison, and right there, late pop of the ability, but it's going to work. It's going to kill the minions.
Evo Skellies come in, poison on top for Mo here. Clean everything up, 1927, and they're just going to play this game back and forth. Wall breakers, though, uncontested. Does the bomb go off in time? It does. Mo happy about that. You can see a little smile and nod to himself.
Yeah, you hear the crowd erupt as well. Nobody was really sure what was going to happen right there.
I mean, the crowd, in this crowd, there are hundreds of thousands of hours of Clash Royale played, and you're watching a guy that is a magician, a surgeon at work.
And right here, I mean, after the slow start for Sub, after taking 500 damage, he is now taking the lead. Sub has done a brilliant job of getting himself back in this game.
Mighty Miner ability, Evo wall breakers behind, and it doesn't, he messes up the sequencing. This is what I'm talking about. Sub can always stay in it. He looks not shaken by that Mighty Miner in the very beginning. And as you were just saying, AC, he's been able to bounce back this entire game and now is firmly in the lead in a mirror match.
Yeah, the difference between the Cannon and the Goblin Hut has been instrumental to his success. I mean, the Goblin Hut, it's just too bulky. He's not able to get it properly. Another Mighty Miner, I mean, that time he gets it brilliantly, but 1455 forces out a response from Sub, and you know him, Mr. Consistent. He's not messing up that interaction.
Yep, you know he's on top of those Skellies, not going to get overwhelmed by other things going on the board, keeping up the pressure. Wallbreakers don't get in front of the bar, but Mighty Miner comes over on that side, has to turn around anyway. 1455, 689, Sub in control.
Right there, Bar Barrel going to be able to clean up the Ice Wiz nicely. Minions in tow going to be able to clean up the Miner as well. So 689, he needs just a little bit more damage before he can start going poison, poison, poison.
Mo putting some pressure on that right-hand side, baits out a Mighty Miner, uses the ability, then goes opposite lane. 542, 1308. Sub catches the Miner.
Sub, all the elixir in the world, he's able to get the cannon down in time, going to be able to stop those wall breakers. And here we go. This is where it starts. 30 seconds left. He's going to go Miner, poison, cycle.
427, 1026, 24 seconds remain. Sub just needs to not make a huge mistake here. Mighty Miner getting kited back on the left-hand side. Poison down early, cannon up high. Mo Light just out of reach, AC, in game one.
Yep, Miner, poison, Miner chipping away. Going to get the tower down to 47. It's over. Sub taking game number one, trying to upset
Muhammad Light, and the crowd with some mixed reactions here. Not sure what really happened. Obviously happy to see a great game, but a lot of them probably rooting for Mo Light.
Yeah.
Sub locked in, dialed in, makes a mistake early on. AC, you've been a pro player. It was some time ago, but you still know the feeling when you make a mistake that early on against someone that good. How do you bounce back the way that Sub did?
Yeah, I mean, you have two ways to go. The first way, which is the way that I often did, was panic, not, continue to make those mistakes. But then you have that second one, and that's what really separates these pros. Yes, I made a mistake, but look, I have the cannon, he has the Goblin Hut. How do I use that to my advantage? I can cycle. I can do all the right things. I mean, every single placement was perfect. He was getting predictions on the Evo Skellies. He was just so in control of what his opponent was going to respond with. It felt like that was just it felt like that was Mohamed Light on the other side. He just knew what he was going to do.
I couldn't agree more, and I loved the use of the Mighty Miner from both players. The early cycled Mighty Miners to catch miners, to use it to take out wall breakers. There was such great predictive gameplay, but Sub was just a couple steps ahead. One time, Mo messes up the sequencing, and the double wall breaker evolution connects, and that was where the game was blown wide open.
Yeah, I mean, those Mighty Miners had 3 jobs every single time they were placed on the map. You had to take out the miner, then you had to pop the ability to get the wall breakers, then you're trying to protect your wall breakers, and so that's why the cannon was so powerful, because you just need that cycle. You need to get to the next card, you need to get to your next Mighty Miner.
And obviously not a 100% mirror match, but very, very similar there, and it's those small pieces that really do make the big difference, whether it's something like minions, the Goblin Hut, the cannon, and then really taking advantage of recognizing the position that it puts your opponents in, and then taking advantage of that, and we saw Sub do that time and time again, and just an excellent showing in game 1, and I love that he comes out and runs that deck, right? Yep. Mo, that's basically his favorite deck in the game right now. Sub comes out and goes, I'm not scared. You want to do a minor poison mirror match? I'll meet you there on the hill, brother.
It's just so impressive. I love that deck choice from him in game number 1. Obviously, have to give a shout out to his coach, his team, because, I mean, they are a unit. They are a squad together.
Yeah, and just getting ready here for game number 2, just about to go underway. Can Sub pull off a sweep against the GOAT, or will Momo bounce back? Here we go, game 2. And that is a look that we know well from Mohamed Light. We've seen it any time basically that he's lost, where he is locked in that next game.
Right there, perfect timing with the log. That 100th of a second, it's always, you just don't know what's going to happen. But right there, just perfection.
We've seen that drill timing be an issue for certain players throughout the competition. Can't imagine Mo will make that mistake more than once, if even that.
Whew. And the Hunter takes out all the goblins with the help of the Royal Ghost, and that's going to force out more and more of a response. Tesla plus Berserker going to put in work, but this RG could be scary.
And
look at shake his head.
He already knows that E-Spirit, the guards are going to clean everything up. And that's already game number 2. A beautiful dissection of Sub's defense. Everything about that was absolutely perfect. He saw the overspend or overcommitment on the left. He saw the only way to defend on the right, and he absolutely picks it apart. And that's why he's Mo Light.
Yeah, and that's why I don't like goblins in this meta right now. I feel like it's a little too easy. They don't do enough DPS, still easy to take out. And I mean, Sub, he's gonna keep playing. It's not over till it's over, but this is looking like it's real trouble for him.
And Mo, I almost wonder if he's playing for the camera here, acting like he's trying to figure something out. Maybe figuring out what he wants to run.
At the camera right there.
In game 3. I can imagine that's maybe where his head is at, knowing that game 2 is essentially locked at this point. Only 1 minute and 13 seconds remain. Momo's taken almost no damage, and he does have an incredibly defensive deck.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool thing to point out, because you have to assume both of these players know the end result of this game. They're going to take the next minute and a half, not because they think that they can come back, and maybe they can, so of course they're going to try, but the main thing is, what am I going to do for deck number 3? How do I get away and give myself an advantage going into that final game?
Honestly, that's exactly what I'd be doing if I was both of them right now, AC. I would just let this game, we don't have draws like they do in chess. We don't have resignations, and I don't think that's what Sub would do anyway, because you're going to use this time to think about what you want to do in game 3. And, as quick as you get, once you get comfortable around Mo Light, that's when he's going to take advantage of that. Unbelievable plays there. That game was over so fast. I kind of saw Mo give a little nod after he recognized what the matchup was, and then he went hyper-aggressive right lane with RG, guards, E-Spirit. Game over.
Yeah. Never mind. I was going to say I'd like a feet camera to see if he jumps on his toes, but maybe we should avoid
Probably should avoid the feet camera here in the Clash Royale League. Maybe next year. And here we go, tower damage 507, as you can see on sub side, a lot more taken. Mo basically perfectly defended that, and now, you know, the confidence that sub gained in game number 1 has got to be out the window, because when you lose that quickly in game number 2, you're very quickly reminded of who you're going up against in Mo Light.
Yeah, and Mo Light played that RG game to perfection. Sub on the other side, drill, and again, I do want to call out the goblins. I'd like guards, maybe skellies. You know, just doesn't feel like the right choice. And here was game number 1. Obviously, can't use the skellies because he used it in game number 1. But I really think that the major difference, Cannon, Goblin Hut, and you know, Sub was able to walk away with it.
I'm curious to see if that drill deck has continued to be used throughout the weekend. You know, when you're going maybe on ladder or maybe in the 20 win challenge, it might work a little bit better, but when you're on the big stage against the best in the world, it seems like they've recognized that you don't have a ground tank and they know how to break through immediately. I think if there was any sort of ground tank, I mean, obviously, like, I'm just gonna say Valkyrie because that would have been a perfect way to respond. You know, you're not gonna get that aggressive, but Mo saw, okay, I know what he's running, I know what this drill deck is, I know he's got goblins because he played it earlier, and then that's just over.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's what we saw when Lucas was going against Igor. He used the slower log bait deck, so that way he could have the Berserker and the Valk give him an answer to whatever he's going against. I would have liked to see the same.
So we'll be curious to see, and we'll keep track of that as the weekend goes on. Another day and a half of competition to see if this drill deck gets a little bit of a change or a facelift, if you will. We obviously know things evolve over the weekend, and obviously, since we have a minute right now, let's talk about the weekend and your predictions. Event.supercell.com/Clash Royale. That's how you get your 2025 spectator badge. That's how you get the Evo Skelly emote at the end of the road. Get those predictions in. Obviously have one more day of competition after this. And right now, this is a tough one to predict. I mean, we all went Mo Light, maybe feeling a little silly after game 1 with how well Sub played, and then reminded why we picked him in game number 2. Now it's about what are they going to bring out in game number 3. Obviously, both these guys, we have not seen a lot of decks played by them because they have been so successful and they had that first round bye.
Yeah, that's right. That's actually a great point. Both players going 2-0 yesterday. Those were their only sets, and now they're back on the stage. And here we go. Game number 3. Sub and Muhammad Light.
And a Tombstone. Have we seen Tombstone yet?
No.
I don't think
so. I don't think so. We've seen the Cage a few times, Cannon, Goblin Hut. I don't think we've seen Tombstone.
And Evo Bomber. I also don't think we've seen Evo Bomber yet this weekend. So Mo and Alan innovating here in game 3.
Yeah, Evo Bomber, one of those where like 70% of the time it's not going to do anything, but the 30%, it'll just win you games.
Man, when it first came out, that was absolutely devastating card. It was a Magic Archer throwing a nuke. And a nice King Tower activation there. Sub showing a version of bait.
Yeah, and right there, just brilliance with the Goblin Barrel, protecting himself. Yes, Muhammad Light is going to activate the King Tower, but not before giving up a ton of damage. Sub taking a pretty massive lead. No NATO in cycle, so that's also going to force out a Bomber in response. And that's going to do pretty well. No shot from the Ghost.
And looking for the log, or excuse me, looking for something with that log, but instead Mo goes with the better route. Inferno up high, barrel back in, gonna get a little more damage on that tower. 1899 to 2 untouched towers on the Brazilian side.
Goblin Hut to defend the Berserker. Goblin Hut doing a great job because the Berserker takes so long, 2 swipes to take out the Spear Goblins. I mean, you gotta wonder about Muhammad Light's deck. There's a couple options. There's the E-Giant, and wow, what a dash.
That is a great dash, and it does feel like E-Giant, AC. And there it is. E-Giant soaks up the Evo Ghost. Still taking some shots from that barrel. Now it's time for Sub to defend. Evo Bomber goes out right side.
Yeah, frustrated beyond belief, taking a lot of damage, and with 1 minute left, I need to take another look at that. The Bomber doesn't shoot the right Goblin. I think the tower took it out. Just everything going Sub's way, and a beautiful King Tower activation. No chip damage, and this is the reason why I'm not a huge fan of Bomber. There's too many matchups you don't get any value.
And obviously, Cannoneer, a great way to match up against E-Giant, but you know what also works is having 3 towers. Princess Towers getting on top of that E-Giant. Gonna pull it to the center here. Dark Goblin gonna get NATO'd in. That Inferno drag, a little scary. And the guards come down last second. You heard a couple gasps there in the crowd. High Ghost, making sure that Golden Knight can't get on top of tower. Inferno getting a little bit scary. And a beautiful cleanup here from Sub. At most takes a couple shots and a dash.
I mean, that was perfection. Muhammad Light thought that the game was over. Half the crowd thought, okay, maybe it was just me, but the Inferno Dragon was...
It was scary close.
It was scary, beautiful Ice Spirit. The Inferno Dragon was on to the wrong card. The Ice Spirit delays and resets the Inferno Dragon's charge.
And another Goblin gets on tower there, 8:57. Only a minute 48 remains, but we all know E-Giant can take a game in a moment. One good push, a nice NATO, a good lineup with the Evo Bomber, a Golden Knight connection. So many ways for Mo to take this game. He goes guards opposite. I like that. No good way to stop him. Barrel in, Tombstone high.
Yeah, that's what Muhammad Light was trying to do earlier. The Bomber placed perfectly right there. Beautiful Golden Knight dash. The MVP for Sub so far has been these Dark Goblins. It's just getting so much value.
Guards once again to distract. Royal Ghost up high. Momo's running out of time and options. Sub goes barrel right into the back here.
No,
and the Golden Knight goes backwards. A gift from the Clash Royale gods. Is that what Mo needs to turn this around? High Inferno.
Beautiful.
Fireball in.
Beautiful fireball right there. Goblin Hunt to take the E-Giant into the middle. Guards are going to be low, but the Bomber's going to be able to help out. Needs the Ice Spirit reset, and he's going to do that again.
Wow.
Perfectly. We keep hyping up all these maybes from Muhammad Light, but Sub on the other side, he's just doing it. He's got it done.
Perfect interactions from Sub time and time again. Resetting the Inferno, getting the guards down last second. Royal Ghost up high to stop the Golden Knight charges. Everything is so clean, but it just takes one. 33 seconds remain. Double barrel in.
Gets the prediction with the Golden Knight, gets the left tower safely, but this Inferno Dragon is going to do nothing. 26 seconds left. He's going to be able to have another... he has another hut. I don't think Muhammad Light has a shot.
I don't think there's any way. Goblins get on top of tower again. Not within fireball range. Guards up high to block. Dark Goblin down low. Dark Goblin down low, that should get on tower! The Golden Knight's on tower, but there's not enough time! And Mo Light is gonna have to repeat a lower bracket run to be the first and ever three-time world champ. Sub gets it done! And absolutely incredible stuff here from Sub. Taking in the crowd, taking in the moment. This crowd is shocked. You see some sad faces, some with dismay. We'll see what Sub has to say. Rich, the biggest upset of the tournament. Talk to me about it.
All right, Sub, let's start with the obvious. You just beat the world champion here on the big stage. How are you feeling? What are you thinking right now?
Então, vamos começar pelo óbvio. Você acabou de bater o campeão mundial. Como você está se sentindo agora?
Não tenho palavras para descrever. Estou muito feliz. Eu acho que colocar essa felicidade em palavras, acho que eu vou ficar aqui até amanhã. Então, mas eu estou muito nervoso ainda. Então, é muita felicidade.
I'm shaking right now. I'm so nervous. I can't have words enough to express my glad. So I'm really confident and glad to bet him.
Well, speaking about nerves, game number 2 was absolutely devastating. You got blown up very quickly. How did you mentally recover from that, and what were you thinking for game 3?
Falando em nervoso, você no segundo jogo acabou perdendo, então imagino que deve ter sido difícil se recuperar. Como foi para você se recuperar e como foi usar as últimas cartas contra o Mohamed?
A minha escolha de deck do segundo jogo não foi boa, o meu início de jogo também não foi bom. Mas antes de começar, de vir para cá, o meu coach falou para mim ter a mentalidade de não importa o que aconteça, foco até o final. Então eu acredito que eu desistindo, eu já estava me preparando para o terceiro jogo, e não desistindo do segundo.
So when I start the game, it was so difficult for me. I have a really tough beginning of the game, but I just put in my mind with my coach, what my coach says to me, that don't mind. You need to focus and just focus in the third battle, you will be fine.
Well, speaking of that third match and your coach, Jose V, I know that you guys have worked a lot on deck picking. Game 1, Log is out. Game 2, Barb Barrel is out. Talk to me about that bait deck and the great pick that you made for Game 3.
Então, no primeiro você perdeu o Log, no segundo você perdeu o Barb Barrel. Como que foi para você escolher o terceiro deck? Como foi a escolha do terceiro deck?
A escolha de terceiro deck foi... Ele tinha gastado muita coisa, ele tinha gastado o tronco, então ele tinha gastado muitas coisas boas contra o Gigant Owl, então eu tinha uma ótima escolha de bait para o terceiro game.
So I waste so many cards on the first battles, and the third I need to pick a big one, so that was my
Well, there we go. Sub, great work. We'll see you in our next round. One more time for Sub.
And a great showing for Sub makes a difficult day for Ian as Mo moves to the lower bracket where he'll be facing off against Ian 77. So a mountain to climb ahead of him, but let's not get too far ahead of ourselves as Sub pulls off the biggest upset of the tournament. AC, talk to me about what went so well for the Brazilian.
I mean, a lot of it comes down to the deck composition. Game number 3, I mean, he just outplayed him with the decks. The Goblin Barrel was so beautiful. I mean, we saw it very beginning of the game. He was going Goblin Barrel on the side, knowing his opponent had NATO. It was just, he was 2 steps, 3 steps, 4 steps ahead of his opponents. And then a lot of it comes down to the Dark Goblin. His protection of his Dark Goblins, okay, yes, you're going to NATO everything in, but I'm going to do a beautiful Ice Spirit when you have the Inferno Dragon at a full. I mean, every single play he made was perfection. You could just break it all down. I was so impressed. I've been so impressed with Sub.
The micro and the macro was just absolutely exceptional when you talk about the understanding of how your opponent wants to break through with E-Giant, making sure that Dark Goblin is far enough away. The only thing he's actually getting pulled in together with that NATO is just, you know, the Hut and the Dark Goblin. And then the guards come in, and the Royal Ghost is up high to make sure to catch that Golden Knight. And just like I was talking about, Mo Light down in the lower bracket. He's done it before. Can he do it again? Sub moves on to our upper semis as Adriel and Pedro will be the next opponent he faces. Mo Light, Ian in the lower bracket, and Sandbox will face off against whoever the loser is between Adriel and Pedro. Getting more and more narrow is the competition, and my goodness, was that an absolute barn burner upset of a match.
Yeah, I was whispering it to him. I feel like I can't say it, but I want to. I was going to put Sub. I promise.
Sure he was. Sure he was.
Maybe.
Didn't get it in the predictions. That was one that we all got wrong. As we said before, you never want to bet against Mo, but not really surprised that Sub could pull it off when we saw the way he played yesterday. Again, we talk about macro and micro understanding. That was what was so impressive about him against Frontier Guard. But can you do that against Mohamed Light? And we saw that he was able to. Just absolute perfect stuff with the Ice Spirit, as he said. Perfect placement on the guards. The fact that the Golden Knight only connected once, I believe, that whole game, and it was in the final 10 seconds when he knew he had damage to give. The aggressive barrels, everything about it, dual lane pressure, it all came together perfectly for Sub. And that is, you know, it is a bit tough. Your opponent's got a building, they've got Ice Spirit, they've got guards, they've got the Dark Goblin. He's got a great matchup there, but that's, again, what Rich was talking about. Great pick there by Jose V.
Yeah, there's a reason why Jose felt so confident. And let's take a look at some of these highlights that we just saw.
Over the years, there's been so many crazy moments. What was your favorite Clash Royale League moment? And it could even be one of your own.
Quería que ganarle a Mo en las finales del mundo de 2023.
First up on the blue podium, he sent both Ian 77 and Mugi to the lower bracket on day 1. His name is Adriel!
Faster.
Second up for the red side, he's the 3rd seed for this year's World Finals, and he's the 2023 runner-up. Everyone, give it up for Pedro!
This matchup has so much going for it, Josh. We have a runner-up for our World Championship a couple years ago in Pedro, and the guy who's been getting so much buzz. Everyone was talking about him last night after his performances. Adriel, poised to make big waves at this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, this is definitely one of those matchups where it's so close between the two. You look at history, you might say Pedro, he was able to finish second at the World Finals. That's obviously incredibly impressive. Adriel, he's been competing for forever. I mean, and he's just so stoic. You love to watch him play, and you love to talk to him as well. He'll say 2 things, you'll smile, you'll walk away, and it's a great conversation every time.
As these guys get ready, of course, reminder for everyone, a win here puts you just 2 match wins away from the world title. We just saw Sub take a step closer. Now, of course, Sub and Pedro, best friends. They spend so much time together, also with the exact same coach. So if Pedro gets through here, we'll have 2 best friends playing in the upper bracket final, but both of them for the first time here without support.
Yeah, that is always a lot of fun talking about the players when they have the same coach. Take a look at the head-to-head notes real quick. 13-6 and 6-7 in 2025. A lot going on between these 2 players, and both of these players just they've been the favorites since it started. They're one of those top 3, top 4 every single time is the general consensus.
Yeah, I mean, you look at that head-to-head, of course, anything can happen in a given best of 3, and we've seen just about everything happen in a best of 3 over and over again. The big question for me, Josh, as we start with this one, is we know how aggressive of a picker Jebez is on one side, and we also know that it's been kind of the comfort master on Pedro's side. So we'll talk more about that matchup in a moment. Let's first take a look at your predictions for this matchup here, and we're getting it pretty close, 55-45. I am not surprised by that razor-thin margin.
Yeah, I mean, I definitely have to give a shout-out to the community. I was wondering if it was going to be 70-30 for Adriel, but a lot of people respecting Pedro as they should. I mean, Pedro is obviously phenomenal. I think that's one of the better community answers that I've seen so far this weekend.
Well, let's go ahead and take a look at our answers for this one, and Josh, who you picking going Adriel on that one? Why are you going Adriel?
I gotta go Adriel. I've been so impressed. I'm going Adriel for the rest of the tournament. Until he loses, Adriel is my answer. Pencil it in.
Yeah, he's the hot hand right now for sure. And getting back to the matchup conversation, Pedro has typically been someone who's very good in his comfort range. And the one thing I don't want to see him do here in this matchup is go minor or go drill, because I have a very strong suspicion that his opponent is looking to cover both of those decks.
Yeah, and I'm really not too worried. I think day one, every single day is going to be different. The meta will emerge, and you're allowing your star player. Look, Pedro is a star. He's a superstar, really. So you can have a bad matchup, you can still win. Even though he was going against Lucas, you still just give him your best decks. We're at day 2 now, though. You have to think of something different. I expect something different from both these players.
You got to bring the heat. Let's see it. Game number 1, Adriel, Pedro. Let's go. Snowball from Pedro. That kind of feels that you might be going in the direction of drill here.
Yeah, and right there, the poison, that poison placement always scares me. I know it's not going to activate King Tower the entire time I'm holding my breath waiting for it to activate.
Zappy's feeling like Royal Giant for Adriel.
Ice Wiz cycled from Pedro. This could be that minor poison with the minions. Goblin Hut. We've seen him run it yesterday against Lucas. Looks like he might be repeating. Adriel on the other side. Could be going RG. Still looking like it. The Giant Skeleton says a lot about your deck.
RG Giant Skeleton was such a combination for a long time during that period where Giant Skeleton was absolutely just frightening. We've seen some GS today, but obviously not as devastating as it once was.
Ghost cycle by Adriel. The Mother Witch is going to be able to put in a decent amount of work. The Ghost is kind of going to get stuck and it's going to spawn some piggies, but because it's the clone piggies, it's going to be taken out real easily.
Putting Skarmy in the back, Ice Wiz up top.
Yeah.
And the arrows to support here. This is going to put a lot of pressure on Pedro, and he is very low on Elixir.
Yeah, that was huge, quick reaction with the arrows. It's going to force out another response from Pedro. Just a pretty big mistake, and it's going to allow Adriel to start off the game really well.
You just see how much Pedro had to spend for that one Mother Witch. You know, the longer you can keep a troop like that on the board, especially at just 4 Elixir, the value ticks up, up, and up.
I mean, Adriel's entire plan was to make it to double Elixir, and he's only taken 150 HP. He's got to feel so good about this start. Right here, how does he want to defend? Going to go with the Skarmy. Evo Snowball is going to put in a little bit of work, but it's an easy response with the arrows.
Yeah, arrows right there to clean that up. Pedro kind of going full send, and you look at the board, Adriel has a full Giant Skeleton on, and they're pretty even on Elixir.
And right here, Adriel recognizing the matchup and how he has to attack it. He's not going to go in with the RG. He's just going to reset. I'm wondering if he's waiting till, I mean, triple Elixir maybe? I'm wondering how he wants to approach this. I feel like he thinks that this isn't a great matchup.
Goblin Hut down. Fisherman trying to get it out of the way. And that's a good bit of poison value on the right-hand side.
Wow, that Skeleton King putting in so much work. Body blocking to perfection and staying away outside of the bomb are Pedro's troops. That was a beautiful defense, beautiful response from Pedro.
You see Pedro now sending the 2 Zappies to the left. Does want to maybe split up the poison damage as it comes in. Not going to get involved here. We're in sudden death overtime. This has been one of the slowest games, one of the most careful games we've seen yet, Josh.
Yeah, Giant Skeleton on defense. You do have to wonder about that Evo Snowball. The Zappies do come down in time. This is going to be fat poison value, taking out the Zappies plus the Fisherman, and Adriel has never been on offense. Not once has he had any sort of aggressive push. Right here, Mother Witch at the bridge, trying to get a little bit of pressure, but again, it's just so simple, and he misses the arrows. These Evo Skellies could provide a little bit of danger, but not going to be the case.
Lead right now for Pedro, untouched on his towers. There hasn't been any spell value for Adriel, and no getting to the second level yet either.
Just looks like Adriel is a little bit frustrated. There's just no answer for him. I don't know if he's supposed to start cycling RGs, whatnot. It just doesn't make any sense. This defense is so strong from Pedro.
And there haven't been a whole lot of drills here either. The drill damage has been quite minimal. The poison, kind of the MVP so far. But look at this, Royal Giant getting in, Snowball on defense, and that might open up the next cycle for Adriel.
Yeah, right here, he could go back again with another bridge RG. I do expect that to happen on the right side. But no, the defensive poison, Adriel's going to try and win one bridge battle and go in aggressive.
Giant Skeleton in front, needs to get that Royal Giant down, 20 seconds left. Pedro still with the lead, 23-54. Lots of ground to make up. Arrows in. Royal Giant gets pushed away from the hut. Oh my
goodness!
Royal Giant gets pushed away from the hut. It keeps on shooting. Oh my word, this drill is everything. Not gonna be enough. Adriel breaks through in the final seconds and takes game number 1.
Did we just see what we just saw? Adriel should not have been able to win that. There was no chance. I put that at a 1% likelihood. He just got lucky that it gets, I mean, it's better to be lucky than good. The RG should not have been able to do that.
I don't know if we can get the replay of that final moment to look at later, but that was so critical. You have the mass of the Giant Skeleton, and I believe it was trying to target a troop on the outside, away from the Goblin Hut, pushed the Royal Giant to the outside and made it just sneak on by. And we used to see that kind of play with RG Giant Skeleton a lot, where you'd have that stack pushing the RG into different spaces. This time in 2025, coming through huge for Adriel.
This is as close to 80-20, 90-10 as you can really get for Pedro. You have to play it to perfection, and that's exactly what he was doing. He was defending, he was controlling the entire map, not getting too aggressive with poisons. I don't know if we
in such a great spot. First moments, you heard the crowd, you heard us, of course, as that one just slipped through his fingers. Of course, neither player on the chopping block here in this upper bracket matchup. They both have that one life to give, but the path is so much easier, especially when you know on the other side of the bracket, on that lower side, you have both Mohamed Light and Ian. One of those two is going to be in your way for sure, not to mention the one who drops down here would face
Yeah, I think RG is an incredible choice for him. He's obviously very talented with those control. It's really like a kind of deck, and you know, RG's definitely a fantastic option for him.
Well, moments as game number 2 is almost ready. Adriel on the precipice of that next step. Can Pedro stay alive? Game 2, let's go. And Pedro does go with his own ghost.
I mean, incredibly quick reaction time with that cage. It would have taken me another 0.3 seconds. He just got it down on the map.
And Exy.
Yeah, a couple options with the Executioner. We're probably looking at Drill, but we've seen a few different things. And there we go. It's going to be the RG instead from Pedro.
And the main counter's not in. You expect the NATO is there. Yup, there we have it. When you see both that Baby Dragon and the Golden Knight, you expect to have the Tornado. So with the Goblin Cage out, still able to hold off against the Royal Giant is Adriel, first minute away. And it's a little bit of chip in both directions.
So pops the ability, but still is forced to drop an Ice Wizard onto the map to take care of that ghost. Pedro in a good position, has the XE Evo in cycle as well. So Pedro feeling really good about the start.
Puts the Berserker in the back. Baby Dragon in reply for Adriel.
And Adriel still hasn't shown 2 cards. Could be a couple of different decks. We've seen a lot of Golem this weekend so far, maybe a little bit of E-Giant. So still a few things available to him.
Well, either way, a big beatdown deck, that Evo Executioner going to be helpful.
Ooh, and this could be huge, but a really nice Ice Whiz. This is a lot on the board, though. A good NATO, but the Fisherman is going to yank it. I'm wondering, and the Ghost keeps spawning more ghouls.
And Royal Giant going wild.
He needs
second verse, a lot like the first. Royal Giant putting in tons of work on Adriel's right-hand tower.
The Brawler is going to be able to take it out. Another XC cycled near the bridge. He's going to be able to pop something in front, keep it alive. Evo Baby Dragon in response. And the Baby Dragon plus the Bar Barrel should be able to defend that nicely, but he's going to need one more. Whether it's a Tornado or the Gob Cage, he actually might need a second.
Golden Knight trying to work, maybe turn this into some sort of counter push. Will win the bridge fight. Golden Knight now to be picked up by the Evo Executioner.
Beautiful timing right there. Adriel still has not played 2 cards. You have to wonder what we should be looking at. Evo Gob Cage in cycle should be able to beat up that RG that is placed inside. No shot right there.
Well, he's having to play so much at the bridge, and with all these big cards, you expect that it's something really heavy, maybe an E-Giant, maybe a Golem. And he just doesn't have any ability to get that going in the back because every bit of Elixir is trying to defend bridge fights.
Yeah, and Pedro's doing such a good job of making sure that he's placing the executioner as often as possible. He knows that his opponent is trying to run a heavy deck, and we finally see it from Adriel. Golem in the back right finally has his opportunity, and with one card not shown, you have to assume it's Lightning.
And there's the Lightning. Can the Golden Knight take this off the board? Gets it done. Now Golem, and the Golden Knight's protecting the Golem here.
Missed this, the tornado. The Fisherman is probably going to be able to yank. Activates the ability. Everything going wrong for Adriel, but this is quite a bit of chip damage. Gets the tower down to 13-11, and all of a sudden, even though a couple things went wrong, it's a game again.
Yeah, it is certainly a game. Does he go Lightning to clear here at the board? RG goes the opposite side. Cage should be sufficient. And that Fisherman a little bit late, and it looks like it's just going to be Adriel opting to eat the damage. Lightning trying to clear everything. Not going to clear enough, though.
And right there, the Ghost activating a couple more ghouls, gets the tower down to 12-12. And now both the left and the right tower are damaged heavily. Gob Cage going to be able to put in a little bit of work, but the RG is going to get 2 to maybe 3 shots. But a NATO comes out from Adriel.
Yeah, and he had to spend that NATO, but it means he can't use it on offense to connect on that right-hand side. 17 seconds left. Adriel's going to have to get a NATO Lightning situation going on. The Goblin Cage to cover. Here's what he wants. XE is high, doesn't hit the Golden Knight. And you see Pedro's not going to play anything anywhere near his tower. Does not want that connection. Lightning in, but log the opposite way. Pedro evens things up. We're going to game 3.
Yeah, Pedro played that matchup to perfection, winning by 100 HP. I mean, I feel like that was really difficult. He just controlled the entire game. I mean, it's a lot like game number 1. What Pedro is doing to control the map, control the arena, it is unbelievable, and you shouldn't be able to do that to your opponent. Doing that to Adriel is unbelievable.
And now what happens in game number 3? Does Pedro go back to that cycle? Does he go big again? There's kind of been a rhythm, mostly in modern Clash Royale this last year or so, of you're either going 2 cycles and a beatdown or 2 beatdowns and a cycle. It's very rare to go all one way or the other, and right now Pedro kind of has that option. He can go left, he can go right.
And you have to wonder, I mean, if you're going into a game number 3 and you're asking the community now, who do you vote for? I mean, Adriel's played so well, just one little mistake, but at the other side, you know, Adriel's only used Golem, so like, you know, at least there's still a lot of things available to him.
I'm very curious if Pedro goes against type here. I do feel like that it would be a big swerve, obviously, to go that direction. You know, if he goes back and plays Miner, or he plays Mortar, or plays Mortar Miner, that does feel it'd be like the most predictable way, but you're also getting into that comfort zone, which is really nice. On the other hand, with a few of the things out, he has some pretty big options open.
Yeah, it's definitely, there's just so much going on. This is why we love Clash Royale, because there's just, there's 1,000 different answers. There's 1,000 different responses from both of these players, from both of these coaches. Who wants to go which way? We're gonna see that soon, and oh boy, this is another fun day, Rich.
Yeah, absolutely. And when you think about kind of what Pedro has seen so far from Adriel, Pedro, or what he's shown Adriel so far, Pedro played Goblin Hut in game number 1, didn't play any building in game number 2, so would not be surprised to see Pedro go back and do something that has a building involved in game number 2, maybe try to get a little extra DPS on something big coming across the board, rather than looking at a potential Miner deck, something like that.
Yeah, I'd love to see Miner from Pedro. It's so funny how the commentators are always going to say, oh yeah, we don't want him to be just too predictable, but then when it comes down to it, if you're the best in the world at something, go right ahead. I'm not going to stop you. Make sure you're feeling good.
Well, looks like we're ready for game number 3. Here we go. The deciding stanza between Adriel and Pedro. Now keep in mind, I talked about that 2-in-1 situation. On the other side of things, Adriel has played Heavy twice, played Royal Giant, played Golem. Very likely he goes Cycle here, and Pedro has to be aware of that possibility.
Adriel cycling the Skellies and the Log. Pedro not playing anything, so you do have to assume it's going to be heavy, and Adriel may be taking a page out of Ian's book, running the Hog EQ Firecracker. Still got a few more cards to cycle before we can actually confirm that.
But here we go. It is Adriel playing cycle, so you have to imagine Pedro's prepared. There's a NATO and an early King Tower activation. Bar Barrel can get back in there if there is a Firecracker in this deck. Pedro goes into his strong side, and there you go, Baby Dragon against that Firecracker.
So another Boss Bandit for this tournament. Bowler gets cycled in the back, and this is a great Hog Rider. And then I don't know if that was on purpose, if that's exactly what he wanted right there. Firecracker is actually going to get chip damage on the right side as well. So everything going Adriel's way. A hot start for Adriel.
And the second he saw that heavy bowler go that opposite lane or go into the strong side lane for Pedro, Adriel just immediately jumped on it. And this is what he wants to do. He wants to get damage early in this matchup. Pedro's going to get stronger as the elixir begins to flow more. And so this is a great spot for Adriel to be in. Over 1,000 damage done early on. A little bit of a cushion for when he knows those big downhill pushes will begin later for Pedro.
Wow, and this is pretty insane to see how much Pedro is leaking right here. He's going to go E-Giant. I was turning around to see if that leaking was on purpose, and wow, what an interaction right there. And the Boss Bandit is going to go back to the E-Giant and take it out fully.
Yeah, I mean, he knew he had NATO in cycle and was just waiting for that Hog to come. I'm sure it didn't touch.
Yeah, I need to look at that again. I felt like he leaked 8 or 9 elixir, and right there, I mean, you know, it's a tough matchup. These Hogs, the EQs, it's so tough when they get in a rhythm.
And assuming he does have a building, right? Cannon might be in here. Now he's given up so much damage that Cannon is just earthquake fodder.
Yeah, and right there, prediction with the E-Giant up top. Knew his opponent wanted to try and get the Evo Firecracker to chip on top of the tower. Is not able to protect it, though. The Skellies plus the E-Spirit will help out a little bit. Needs to play something else, and he will.
Wow.
Protects that Evo Firecracker.
Yeah, she's just staying on the board for so long. Bowler taking care of 2 Firecrackers down. And Bar Barrel usually great for Firecracker, but only if you can get there, and now Hog switches lanes.
Yeah, really interesting ability right there. Skeletons in front to protect the Boss Bandit. Forces out a cannon. That is a massive. Adriel knows that his next Hog Rider, yes, it's going to get NATO'd, but now NATO isn't in cycle. It's just that 1, 2, 3. Who's going to figure it out, how to play the matchup?
E-Giant sets up behind the clock on the right-hand side. We are in double elixir time. Adriel giving himself options as he continues to go on that opposite lane.
Yeah, slight misplay with the Firecracker allows itself to get taken out by the bowler. Evo Tesla going to be able to snipe the Baby Dragon. Incredible interaction, and that's a naked NATO going on top of the Tesla instead of the tower. What does he have for this? Okay, Tesla is going to come down in time, but it's going to get a lot of chip damage onto the tower, getting it down to 2178.
Yeah, this puts it in the danger zone. Now we're getting into triple elixir. Pedro able to set up in that back corner once more. Adriel can play opposite lane. He can defend and play in the same lane. Both of those are open right now.
Cycles the Firecracker in the back, protecting himself. Evo Cannon in cycle. Lightning comes down. That's another Boss Bandit right there, and that's going to eat away at the E-Giant, but this is a lot on the board for Adriel, and it's going to be in range of the cannon. Kind of an interesting placement from that Tesla.
Yeah, Tesla not doing great here. Needs to cycle back very quickly. NATO takes the Hog into the middle. Bowler tanking. Tesla once more. Lightning clears it off. This would be a lot of damage here for Pedro.
Yeah, and now he has to worry about the Golden Knight that's going to be dashing. He's going to go Hog opposite lane. The mistake with the lock.
Oh my.
You see a shake. Oh my. Game over. Pedro reverse sweep to win it.
Pedro doing what E-Giant does. Holding, waiting, overwhelming. And now we're gonna have an all-Brazilian upper bracket final.
Wow.
What a moment for Pedro. Let's go down to the floor where Juicy is with our winner.
Wow.
I mean, the first question I want to ask, in the first game, you had a good matchup, but that Royal Giant getting pushed by the Giant Skeleton was crazy. Tell me about what you were feeling in that moment.
Então, na primeira partida, você estava ali enroscado, né? O Royal Giant te colocou de lado, então a gente queria saber como que você superou isso.
Então, infelizmente são jogadas que acontecem, mas a gente tem que manter o mental nas próximas partidas, então, mesmo depois disso, eu me mantive tranquilo.
Unfortunately, this kind of things happens, so I just focus on my mind and to be chill and do my job.
Wow, and then also talk to me about the mental fortitude to be able to come back from that crazy mishap and about the patience that it took to win that final game.
Então, me conta como que foi para você fazer esse revival, né? Voltar depois dessa partida tão desafiadora e como você se manteve paciente para conseguir ganhar esse jogo.
Então, eu acho que eu me mantive tranquilo o tempo todo porque eu acho que eu estou no meu melhor nível de jogabilidade de todos os anos que eu já cheguei a jogar um Mundial, até do que eu fiquei em segundo lugar. Então, realmente, foi só manter o mental e já era.
I think that I'm in my major league. I do my greatest job right now, even besides have the second places in another final world. So I still relax, and I know that I did a great game.
One more time, great answers all around. Give it up for Pedro. What a showing. Wow, what a game.
What an unbelievable round for Pedro from top to bottom, especially after what we saw as that Giant Skeleton pushed the RG to the outside. We've seen again twice now, these moments that could feel devastating, could feel heartbreaking, but Pedro and Sub, both best friends, bouncing back in the biggest way.
Yeah, I mean, Pedro's definitely one of those players that we knew he could be a top 3, top 2 world champion easily, but it felt like just not enough people were talking about him. A lot of people got swept up with Adriel, and Pedro made sure to bring everybody else back down to earth. What a fantastic showcase from him. Here's game number 3, and it was all about the patience. Could he make it to the triple elixir? Could he get past that Tesla? He needed to make sure that he had the elixir for those lightnings. And I mean, it was very creative pushes. We saw the naked lightning on top of the Tesla. No troops, no nothing. It was just the Tesla. And a lot of people wouldn't be willing to do that, but he's just so clever with everything that he does. And that's the reason why he was able to win game number 3.
And look at all the cycle coverage that Pedro has here, right? If it's Hog, you have both the cannon and the NATO. If you're going up against some sort of bait, you have the bar barrel in there as well. Not to mention a NATO for King Tower activation, the E-Giant as well. All of these pieces that could do so much devastation. And we talked about that 2-1 breakdown. Adriel went beat down, and so it was probably coming down the pipe. Cycle.
Yeah, that's a great point right there. And man, I can't wait to go backstage and try and grab Pedro, because I need to know how he was able to come up with the fact that it's okay to leak 10 elixir. I was always taught from a young age, don't leak elixir, play your cards down on the map. But I learned something new today.
Yeah, I mean, I think the biggest thing is recognizing in those moments that he had what he needed in cycle as the responses. And the only thing he would do by spending that elixir is getting those responses out of his hand at that moment. So brilliant. I really love the maturity, the patience from Pedro there. And now look at this bracket. Sub and Pedro, one of those two guaranteed to be in the grand final. Those are 2 parts of our top 3 here. We will be seeing both of those guys tomorrow, day 3, right here at our World Championship. The question is, who is going to be that last part? Will it be Mohamed going for his 3rd World Championship? Will it be Ian with the big upset, keeping this crowd pumped up? Adriel, can he get back on track for this run? And Sandbox, will the confidence keep carrying him against these seemingly insurmountable odds? All of that only happening right here.
Yeah, I mean, Sandbox definitely one of those players that it's been so exciting, so amazing to see how well he has done. And oh my goodness, match 17.
Yeah.
How are we not getting this in match 24? I mean, Mohamed Light, Ian 77. Who does the crowd even choose root for at that point?
You know, the way this crowd has been so far, I have to imagine it's going to be for Ian, but we'll see. The 2-time versus the champion of this room coming at you very soon. Don't go anywhere.
He made a lower bracket run in 2022 when he won his first championship. Can he do it again to win his third? Welcome back to the stage, the reigning, defending, undisputed champion of the world, Mohamed Light! And looking to punctuate his World Finals debut with defeating the GOAT, the hometown favorite. Give it up for Ian!
This is almost unprecedented territory here, Juicy, because we are so used to every time Mohamed steps on stage that he gets the big pop, the big cheers. And for the first time ever, we heard a fairly quiet room, and then the cheers going huge for his opponent.
I know. This is such a wild match to have the two-time world champ going against the fan favorite. You can hear the crowd in the background. It's absolutely electric.
And you know what I haven't asked these players is when those big pops, because we've heard some roars today, are those roars breaking through those noise-canceling headphones? Because the level of response, we've seen Ian look up at the crowd a few times.
Yeah.
I have to assume it's there. That's the big question. When Ian has big moments, does that break through those headphones and start to rattle Mohamed Light?
Yeah, I actually talked to Ian yesterday after coming off one loss to go to the lower bracket. And he said, you know, it's enough noise canceling to make sure he can stay focused, but enough of it's able to leak through to really vamp him up and get him excited for this game.
Well, he better be not just pumped, but also able to maintain that certain level of calm. You can't let the adrenaline take over and start getting you thrown off from the mission at hand, and that is beating not just one of the greats, not just, some would say the greatest, but a guy who's been so comfortable in lower bracket runs.
Yeah, the other reason that I'm just ecstatic to be on the desk for this match is because leading up to the World Finals, I spectated Mo and Ian practice game after game, day after day against each other, and a lot of the games were very close as well, so we are in for a treat here, Rich.
Well, let's see if your predictions are close on this one or if it's going to be heavy for Mohamed Light. And wow, laying him heavy, 81% voting for Mohamed Light over Ian, just 19% of the picks. Let's go ahead and take a look at our picks. Jackson, who you got?
I have to go with Mo here. While Ian does, have what it takes gameplay-wise, Mo, he just has so much more experience on stage.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and buck the trend here. I'm picking the hometown guy, Ian. I've heard this crowd. I have never seen a crowd like this before, and I believe that they could break through and maybe rattle the champion.
I know, we talked so much about the Mohamed Light effect of being able to, or really struggling to play against Mo, but I think there's an Ian effect here today.
Well, we'll see in a little bit as these guys get their decks ready. How heavy is that Ian effect? What does it actually do for you? Does it give him that boost to beat Mohamed? Does it swing the mood in the room enough to shake things up? And can Ian maintain his calm, bring back what he showed us in his previous outing, and just be cool, directed, and ready? Time to find out now. Maybe the most anticipated matchup of the year, Mohamed Light and Ian. Let's go.
We're in the game one, both players locked in. Good luck from both players, and a wall breaker's in the back from Mo. I really like this play.
Not a huge surprise. Mohamed has opened with this a few times. Royal Giant is the show for Ian.
Yeah, and Mo's just going back to his bread and butter, his comfort. He won 4 20-win challenges on 4 different accounts with this Minor Poison Ice Wiz control variation.
Are you surprised to see him go here again, though, given that we essentially just had that same conversation?
You know, I'm not. I think that no matter what, you know, if you take a loss with your best deck, it's still your best deck, and you can take what you learned previously and kind of apply it into this game.
Ability does put a little bit of damage onto that Royal Ghost. Mighty Miner will finish off the Fisherman. First minute away, and just a little bit of chip both directions.
It's really interesting to see the Firecracker variation from Ian with the Royal Giant. I think it could be good, just apply some pressure, and it's going to help versus the Goblin Hunts as well.
Big connection for Mohamed. Now opens up the scoring.
Yeah, another thing to think about once again is what spell do you choose with your Royal Giant deck? In this sort of situation, I think a Fireball is a little bit... Wait, he's not... Wait, is he using...
Mega Knight.
Hog? I'm not sure.
What a fascinating choice. The MK here.
I kind of like it though. The Mega Knight historically does really, really well versus these chip type decks, able to defend and counter push with that big 7 elixir card. Wait!
And another connection for Mohamed.
Oh my goodness, not only getting damage on tower, but also taking out the Firecracker, preventing the counter push. Ian is really showing to start a little bit of his nerves.
We have not seen a ton of Mega Knight here. You see Ian with the oh no Goblin emote.
Classic Ian trying to get into his opponent's head. I talked to a few players. A lot of them are saying that they always mute emotes when going against Ian just to try to prevent that sort of mind games.
Wall breakers don't get through this time. Evo Mega Knight not able to take care of the hut. And now Mohamed Light starting to put on the pressure.
Evo breakers coming in from Mo on the left-hand lane. No Barbaro and Cycle. That's double Evo wall breaker connection. Oh my goodness.
Double hut down. Regular Mega Knight into a Mighty Miner.
I really like the use of the Goblin Hut to pull the Fisherman in to allow the Mighty Miner to do work on those Mega Knights, but here comes the Evo.
And now Royal Giant behind.
Mighty Miner to try and clean it up. Fisherman's not there, and Ian calls good game.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
I mean, what an absolute shutdown defense that was. You have the hut obviously is causing so much trouble for Ian. But then you have the Evo Skellies just completely devastating all of that push. And Ian knows that it's going to take a miracle to get game number 1.
Mega Knight built up in the back once again, but the Barb does get one hit. I wonder if Ian needs to get either 2 Royal Giants or maybe even 2 Mega Knights on the board and triple elixir to make this happen.
And he's still eating wall breakers.
Really nice Mighty ability. Kind of just preventing damage to the right, but also cleaning up the ghost on the left at the same exact time.
And just the hardest thing for Ian here is the dual lane pressure has been unrelenting.
Yeah.
And he's had no real way to control this game in both the left and right side.
And that is what the change to the 3-card cycle is about. You know, it hurts Hog sometimes, but being able to have, oh my gosh, with the wall breakers, but being able to have multiple Mighties on the board to defend is huge.
2 Mega Knights down, Evo Royal Ghost as well. RG on the right-hand side.
This might be it.
There's a lot on the board here. Ian might have to ignore the Miner and just go after it. E-Spirit to hit. Will the Royal Giant turn around? Mega Knight all over the place. 48 HP. Lightning in. Can the Royal Giant do it in time? Can the Royal Giant do enough? It's not going to happen. Poison down. Mohamed Light wins game number 1.
Wow. I mean, when I saw the double Mega Knight, I was like, this is what I was talking about. The double Mega Knight push with the Evo Ghost and Cycle. Ian did everything in his power in order to curate the perfect attack in order to try and break through Mo's stone wall defenses, but it simply wasn't enough. The damage lead, the damage disparity was far too wide in order to make it happen.
The Lightning just trying to open things up, couldn't get it done. And now Ian facing elimination, and now you have to wonder if this is where those nerves start to set in. This is that moment that you dream about, right? You're up against the two-time at World Finals. This is a put up or shut up moment for Ian.
Yeah, and looking at the decks here, we just see once again this version of Miner focusing on Evo Skeleton instead of Evo Ghost just for full defensive capabilities. He did it really well of utilizing his Goblin Huts to pull in Fishermen's, stacking multiple of them on the board to try to prevent a lightning value. And then once again, the Ice Wizard is just such a menace to slow all these pushes down.
Another piece, too, is that this version now leaves Evo Royal Ghost open for Mohamed. And we know how devastating that can be. That card almost just won the matchup for Ian here. So that little change, those 1 or 2 card changes, don't just make the composition of that one moment shift, but they also do that same thing to the entire duel.
Yeah, that is a great call. I mean, the Royal Ghost Evo, it's so strong defensively, and as you saw from Ian trying to counter push with that as well, I really like that call from you, Rich, because you're so right. You always need to be thinking about not just this game, but the future of the best of 3 as well.
Well, now we have this thing we were talking about with Josh last game about sort of the rhythm of these duels is 2 beatdowns, 1 cycle, 2 cycle, 1 beatdown. That's the big question here. Now with this back to the wall, does Ian revert to playing cycle? And you have to imagine that Mo might try to cover.
Yeah, I mean, Mo and his coach Allen always covering those important decks. We've seen Ian do really well with Hog Earthquake this day of the CRL. I think that he's starting to really start to lead in the comfort. The problem is I just don't even know if that's possible going against the best player in the world.
Well, looks like their decks are just about ready. Let's jump into it. Game 2 of Ian and Mohamed Light.
We see a good luck from Ian. He's got the Cannoneer Tower. Most likely either going to be Mortar or Hyperbait, based on my knowledge. And he's got a gang, so really could be open to either.
So Ian going cycle as maybe we thought. Question is, what do Mohamed Light and Allen have ready for it?
Firecracker guards. Going to be either Hog or Roll a Giant paired with that Firecracker. Skeleton Barrel from Ian. E-Spirit is in the deck here. Wow.
And the Ghost. That's what we just talked about, right? Ghost not played in that previous deck as it normally would be, available and in use here.
Log going to come through, kind of protect the Electro Wizard, force Mohamed Light to spend more elixir, or decide to take a hit. Mo is not too worried to take a hit on the right-hand side because he's already taken damage to the left, kind of letting Ian split up the damage to try and conserve that elixir advantage.
What do you think Ian's looking for with the E-Wiz pick here?
You know, I think it's good versus bait. Obviously, any sort of Mighty Miner or Inferno Dragon deck, it's going to be great for. But ever since they buffed Electro Wizard, it's actually a lot stronger than people realize. And obviously, kind of using it as a secondary spell on defense can be super important.
Here we go. Hog in, E-Wiz high. And this is going to shut down this Hog with no hits. Ian's starting to open up some damage here.
Yeah, both players kind of feeling each other out, trying to figure out what's good. Ian's tower definitely starting with a little bit less HP overall and a little bit of a lead, but Mo is always taking that sort of thing into account.
Hog in, high mortar.
I wonder if Cannoneer can shut this down. He's not sure, so he drops the Electro Wizard. Evo Ghost on the board. Can he protect that in order to get the counter push? Doesn't look like it.
The E-Wiz does a good job, though. Here we go. Fireball in. Skeletons all over. Log comes down.
I'm trying to figure out what Mo's last card is. Obviously, it could be Earthquake, but he didn't use Lightning previously. So that Lightning could be a difference maker, although I think he'd much rather Earthquake for the Mortar and for the Goblin Gang.
Little splash on that tower from the Firecracker. Skeleton Barrel opposite lane from Ian. Getting closer to sudden death overtime, and at the moment, things fairly close, about 100 HP separating on the right-hand lane.
A lot of pressure in the right-hand lane to try and punish that 6 elixir card in the boss bin in the back. And this actually forces Ian to use a defensive Evo Mortar. that's definitely going to give Mo an edge to continue to attack and not have to worry about that on offense.
And Evo Ghost right onto the Boss Bandit, but Ghost gone.
Yeah, I mean, we talk about mini metas in Clash Royale League. I mean, we really don't see much of Boss Bandit in the normal game, but the Boss Bandit has really shown up to be very powerful in this tournament.
And the combination of the Cannoneer and the King Tower able to work together and support these troops, doing a good job so far as Ian from keeping these hogs from connecting.
Will the Ghost clutch up? It does, and the log will drop as well. But Ian does continue his advantage, getting that Evo Skeleton Barrel drop on tower.
Some chip damage there Ian didn't want to take. Goes Mortar opposite lane again. Hog down.
Pre-log?
And that pre-log is huge.
Wow.
Huge hits from the Hog, does not get two.
But
now there's a Mortar connection for Ian.
But the Evo Tesla does stun and reset, but now an Evo Mortar and Cycle. This might be Ian's chance to make it to game 3.
Mortar cannot connect, lightning in the clear.
Lightning really cleans up and gets damage on the Princess Tower, sorry, the Cannoneer Tower on the right.
1483, 1694. This battle has become about the right-hand side. Fireball Cycle puts this within 4. Log takes the lead for Ian.
Tesla does pull the skeleton. The Fireball is in, but the Lightning goes as well.
Fireball trying to create the connection here. Is there a Mortar? Is there an E-Wiz? Can he stop it? Oh my word! Mohamed Light holds on and wins it by 42 HP.
Unbelievable. I don't think I've ever seen Mo so almost unhappy about winning that game. I think he's feeling for his opponent here. I really wish this could have been our grand final, but we are going to be saying goodbye to Ian 77 in CRL League 2025.
Well, let's go ahead down to the floor and get inside Mohamed's head with Andrew Guy.
All right, Mohamed Light, 2022, you made your lower bracket run. Obviously, you became world champion at the end of that run. What did you learn back in 2022 that made you successful here and hopefully tomorrow as well?
I don't know, to be honest. I'm just playing and I'm a bit tired right now. Hopefully I can get some rest before my next set.
Okay, got to keep his secrets to himself. It's maybe one of the first times you've been in a room where the crowd was actually not rooting for you. Did that have any effect on your gameplay, hearing them pop for Ian every single time he made a play, every single time it felt like he was coming back into it?
To be honest, the headphones this year are very good, so I was not able to hear the crowd. I'm only able to hear the crowd when Alan is screaming.
That's a good coach. And lastly, that deck's been played a few times that Ian was running. It's been very successful. You and Alan kind of created that deck. Can you talk about why you guys think it's been so good in CRL 2025?
I think the main thing about the deck is that the Boss Bandit is really broken, and it probably should be nerfed.
You heard it here from the GOAT. One more time from Mo Light, who'll be back tomorrow.
And a direct appeal from Mohamed Light to the Balance team, who I can see, I won't point him out, but I know they heard that one. We'll see if the Boss Bandit gets a change either way. It didn't do its job for Ian this time. Mohamed Light getting it done in 2, and I gotta say, I have never seen or heard a response for Mohamed Light win like the one we just heard. I expect the crowd maybe to come back around tomorrow when they've healed from what happened today with Ian, but man, that was one of those ones where I think that no one kind of knew what to do in the moment.
Yeah, and looking at these decks, this is game number 2. Once again, Mo without the Earthquake, but he still gets it done, utilizing his Ghost for the extra splash damage, the Evo Tesla to control the spam, as well as control the mortars. And the really scary situation was the Evo Mortar to the right-hand side, but he really just kind of controlled everything using those cards, and then actually the Lightning ended up being so much extra damage compared to the Earthquake on tower.
Well, we come back to it's a 42 HP difference.
Right,
and in the final moment, Ian played Fireball to try to get the Skeleton Barrel to break through, and not on tower. Ian puts that Fireball on tower. We're in game 3 right now.
I know. Yeah, that is actually unbelievable. I didn't even really realize that, but that is now in the past. Looking at the bracket here, you know, Muhammad Light is going to be advancing to that lower bracket semifinal. And our next matchup, we do have Adriel versus Sandbox here, Rich.
It's Adriel and Sandbox, two absolute killers. But of course, one of them has to go on and take on Muhammad Light. And I know that Pedro and Sub are just sitting there, and they don't even care who wins between the two of Sandbox and Adriel. They just want whoever's going to stop Muhammad from making it to the grand final or make it to the lower bracket final. So we'll see if one of those two guys can dig it out. But right now, it's the end of Muhammad's day, or end of Muhammad's day for the moment. He's going to go and await the winner of these two, and then we will get ourselves down to our final three here in just two more matches.
Yeah, which is crazy. We're going to be finishing everything today except for the upper bracket, lower bracket, and grand finals. So don't go anywhere, and let's go and hop into these highlights to see what just happened to this match. How do you feel about the current meta, and do you think that it kind of plays to your strengths or to your weaknesses?
Diría que me favorece por el Ghost Evo, que ya que el Noble está bastante fuerte y me gusta el meta.
What do you have to say to your opponents before they have to see you on the stage?
다른 선수들과 같이 그냥 재밌게 게임하고 싶습니다.
He's the silent assassin. No smiles, no handshakes, no nothing. He's ready to get into this game and get back in the win column. He is Adriel! Faster. Being the underdog means nothing to this guy. In fact, I think it makes him play even better. Our next guy is Sandbox!
And these guys coming in two very different situations. Juicy, obviously, Adriel coming off of a loss, and Sandbox, who's keeping this lower bracket run going. A very exciting match coming your way. Juicy, from what you've seen today, what are your thoughts on this match? And maybe Adriel resetting and Sandbox riding the wave.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many thoughts, but I would say, once again, I have to reiterate, you know, Sandbox coming off that win, I feel like he's a player that can take that momentum. Adriel, on the other hand, you know, I did his interview, and he said, you know, I was born with a really, perseverance style, mindset. Yeah. So I think that sort of thing is not going to affect him as much as you might think.
I mean, absolutely. He's a guy that's been emotionless since he ever stepped on the World Final stage, which is a very good thing. I don't mean that as a negative. It's very important. We've talked about some of the best players of all time throughout history, and the more stoic you can be on stage, the more locked into the game you can be. And, you know, Adriel there, we saw in game one of his set against Pedro, you talk about that perseverance juice. That's exactly what that was. That RG getting pushed by the giant skeleton. It felt like it was already sewn up, and then he was able to steal that game. Things just kind of fell apart for him in the last moments of game 3.
Yeah, really unbelievable. On the other hand, you know, Sandbox, I was really excited about his gameplay. I think he played really well. And I also just love his reactions, right? You know, he's kind of an opposite. It's like two sides of the same coin here, where Sandbox really uses that momentum and those emotions to his advantage.
Yeah, and while, Adriel is a terrifying opponent, you got to talk about what the gamut that Sandbox has been through already. Going up against Igor, Mugi, Mo Light, and OP Sam. He's probably very happy to be going up against someone that is not a former world champion again. Let's take a look at what the chat said. I'm very curious to see where you guys landed on this, and that is what you want to see in a match like this. 54% for Sandbox, 46% for Adriel, and that's about as close as it gets in terms of prediction on this weekend.
I know, and I'm really excited to see these caster predictions as well. For me, I understand where the community is at. I gotta pick Sandbox. Like you said, he's coming off a win of Mugi, a two-time world champion. That's so much to go on. Once again, Adriel taking a loss from Pedro.
Yeah.
It's just a tough situation.
Absolutely, and in terms of my pick, I actually did go with Adriel because he has been so clean throughout the entire weekend. That set, though, that was the first time we saw a little bit of, cracks in the armor, and the rest of us are all going with Adriel as well, but Juice being the last man standing for Sandbox, I could see it going either way.
Yeah, we talk about Adriel being stoic and not making mistakes, but in that last set, he really struggled, just missing a tornado. I've done it many times, but it's just something you cannot do if you're going to try to be the world finals winner of the Clash Royale League.
Absolutely, and then he almost doubled down on that mistake. You understand why he hit the dash there to try to take care of the Fisherman,
right?
But it didn't take care of the Fisherman,
right?
And it activated King Tower, which you never want when you're playing E-Giant, right?
Exactly. Yeah, I saw that as well. Once again, shout out to Busby. Mistakes beget mistakes.
That's right.
You don't want that to ever happen, though. That's one of the first things as a coach you ever teach a player is never let one mistake lead to another.
Absolutely, and these are two guys that have already shown us that they can kind of bounce back from their mistakes in history. Sandbox has been doing it excellent all day long, all weekend long. So here we go. Adriel, Sandbox, one stays, one goes.
And we're into it. Both favorite card being Royal Giant. I love how both of them picked their biggest rival to be Muhammad Light as well.
Of course, to beat the best, you got to beat the best.
Right.
And wondering if Sandbox is just going to go right back to what we've been seeing with that mortar deck. Maybe Ram Rider instead with the bar barrel. That mortar deck has been running Fireball and Log, but it does have the Skelly barrel here. So RG, bottom of our screen.
And Sandbox with the mortar at the top. The boss man, it just continues to dash.
And it still dashes again here. Just so much pressure from that one card. And down to 1 while Sandbox is ticking to 5.
Yeah, and you talk about how the boss man, it just forces out so much elixir, and this is where we see 6 elixir to 4, another boss man at the bridge, continuing to apply insurmountable amounts of pressure.
And I love this because while it's not trying to win the game, if you make a mistake with that little HP against the boss bandit, you will lose the game. So I love that pressure there from Sandbox, recognizing where his opponent is. They're near even with Sandbox slightly in the lead elixir-wise. Again, great pressure there, no damage done, minute 20 down.
Yeah, and historically this matchup, Mortar does really well versus the Royal Giant, but we've seen it really go either way in this tournament. I do think the boss bandit, though, does a little bit better than Skeleton King might normally, because the ability is a slightly more efficient versus the cards like Log and E-Spirit compared to the Skeleton King ability.
And the Fish Boy. The Fish Boy locks on your Skeleton King. It's pulled out of the conversation, whereas the Boss Bandit, you can hit that ability, reset. Also the DPS from the Boss Bandit, even without using that ability, just the dash and that single target DPS, all better than the Skeleton King. So Sandbox not in a terrible spot here, and he has a great ability to create pressure cheap in the opposite lane. So we'll see how he wants to let this game play out, and that's a lot of fireball value, Juice.
Yeah, Evo goes, cleans up the boss spin, the fireball takes everything out, and now we see the counter push. This is what Evo Ghost is best at here.
Counter push coming in. Evo Ghost has to be wrangled, but you got to think about that Evo RG first. Evo Ghost still on the board, doesn't go invisible again, and you have to play that Dark Goblin close enough to where you don't get more pops there. Hunter on tower, 26-32, first lick of damage done by Adriel.
Ghost is still a threat. No skeletons in cycle for the surround, so Boss Bandit drops instead. Not the worst thing. It is going to counter push, and I like the adjustment here. Not going same lane to give fireball value, but instead dual lane pressure to force out more elixir on both sides.
Great set of skellies there from Sandbox to predict the Fish Boy. And that's why this Boss Bandit is wreaking havoc once again. Sandy keeping up the pressure, gonna go Evo Mortar. 4 Elixir in the tank for Adriel. Gotta use Skellies to kite. Now Boss Bandit comes down, feeling the pressure here. How's he gonna stop it? Mortar's locked. Evo Mortar is locked.
Oh my goodness.
Boss Bandit's tanking.
Fireball does hit, but the Evo Mortar gets one more connection. Boss Bandit isn't able to dash, but still, almost 1,300 damage done on the left-hand side for Sandman.
There are certain things that happen in this game. An E-Giant getting on your tower, an Evo Mortar connecting, it will turn the whole thing on a dime. Insane amount of damage there. 1775, 2591. Sandbox with the defensive mortar on the board, feeling good.
Boss Bandit back as well. Kind of slowing things down a little bit. This will give Adriel a chance to make a push, but Sandbox got quite a bit of elixir for defense. Let's see if he can make it happen.
And that RG just eating up some Skellies, some minions, and a good counter push on the right-hand side, but has to deal with this push on the left. Fireball doesn't hit the Boss Bandit, but does hit the Evo Barrel.
E-Spear trying to clean everything, and it does. The log unnecessary. And once again, Adriel kind of showing his nerves a little bit.
Yeah, I was just going to say, Juice, that is such a great call here because now Sandbox going to keep the pressure up. A little bit of mistiming there.
And a Royal Giant Evo in the back, trying to get the dual lane push, but Sandbox knows it's time to pressure. But I also really like the slowness and the patience to just drop the Boss Man in the back and set up for defense as well.
Yeah, and you know, like we've been talking about a lot today, not having the 3-card cycle, the ability to get 2 Boss Bandits down, that is so great when you're defending against Mortar. Evo Mortar just in range there. Fireball comes in, log to clean up the Dark Goblin, and finally a couple shots going to come in on this left-hand side as the Boss Bandit connects on the right.
Bar Barrel plus minions should be able to clean up the Evo Ghost fairly easily. Boss Man is still a threat. Royal Giant drops. I don't know. I mean, maybe this works.
Skeleton soaks that shot from the Boss Bandit. Boss Bandit goes back on Sandy's side of the board. Should get 1 RG shot. Fireball in, 12:05, 18:01, 4 seconds remain. Adriel drops game number 1. Sandbox is keeping the golden run going.
Yeah. I mean, this is what I'm talking about. Sandbox taking that momentum, beating Mugi, 2-time world champion, going against Adriel, and he's saying, I don't care how well you've been performing, I'm going to use one of the most trendy, most, mini meta decks that we've had in this tournament and just abuse it to the final degree.
Absolutely. I mean, you heard Mo talk about it on the stage. Cat's out of the bag. Boss Bandit's a little broken, it seems. Sandbox uses it to perfection there. Really what it was about wasn't about the Boss Bandit getting on tower, it was about the Boss Bandit soaking elixir.
I know, exactly. And I honestly don't know what to say because you said it so well, but it's so true. I mean, you bait out the elixir, you use the abilities to force out more hunters, more fishermen, more ghosts, and then all of a sudden, Evo Mortar's locked in the tower. A fireball comes out from Adriel to try and deal with it, but it's too late. 2 hits is all it takes to do an insane amount of damage.
Yeah, and one thing that's really tough when you look at the deck that Adriel has here, there's not a lot of things to kind of kite that mortar around once the Fish Boy and the Hunter are out of cycle. Obviously, the Ghost's gonna not do it. You're low in elixir, so you can't drop the RG down high. So we saw him trying to kite with the Spirit and with the Skellies, but Evo Mortar, that Goblin's gonna turn and take those Skellies off the board. Just great stuff from Sandbox.
Yeah, I mean, I'm kind of thinking back, trying to feel or think about like what Adriel could have done differently. But honestly, at this point, that's not what the focus should be on. We're heading to game 2 very soon, and both players have to really kind of start thinking about what decks they're going to play. Obviously, Sandbox, a very good RG player, a very good Splash Art player.
Yeah.
Adriel, on the other hand, he's very versatile. He's just trying to look for that good matchup.
Yeah, and he's also trying to look for a win. Now 3 losses in a row. Imagine that confidence is waning a little bit. And like you said, Juicy, it seems like he's starting to feel the pressure just a bit. And Sandbox has got to be riding high right now. Great interactions throughout, clearly tracking his opponent's cycle, his opponent's elixir, and now the world's his oyster. He can play whatever he wants here in game 2. He can play any comfort that he'd like.
It's true. And Adriel, I think his main goal should be to make a good play, get himself start feeling good, go for a risky prediction. We love to see the low risk, high reward predictions. If he can get one of those moving, I think he can really kind of restart his confidence.
And I'd love to see him play a deck where he feels like he can control the tempo. The biggest thing with RG that we've seen a lot when it struggles today is when you can't figure out a way to break through, so then you're trying to figure out how do I get 2 RGs on the board. So you're kind of playing catch up for that entire game. We saw him kind of doing that in the Hog game as well against Pedro, that final game. He was trying to always make up up damage. We need him to control the pace, Juicy. What would be the best way to do that?
I think the best ways are always with either Miner or Drill control. Those are my go-tos. You're really able to defend and then continue attack. We are hopping straight into game 2, guys. Let's see what Adriel has for us in order to bounce back here.
And Mighty Miner comes down, feeling like it could be Hog or Miner control. And we see the Evo Furnace, who made an appearance yesterday, I believe, but we have not seen much here today. And the other side of it, Sandbox going comfort.
Yeah, I was gonna say the same thing. This is what Sandbox is really known for. You know, these kind of mid-tier expensive control decks with the Zappies, with the Evo Goes, the Giant Skeleton block lanes, and instead of the Roll Hogs in this variation, we do see his favorite card, the Roll Giant.
And RG cycled to the back early on here, and talking about controlling the pace of the game, Sandbox has kind of already taken that from Adriel. When you get that RG in the back, now you can see everything going down this right-hand side.
Yeah, and it looks like we got the prediction on what Adriel might use here correctly. You know, how do you control the pace of the game? You use Drill, you use Miner. He's coming out with some Evo Snowball Drill. He's gonna have Poison. He's gonna have the Furnace to apply pressure as well. But Sandbox is doing a great job to continue to apply pressure and try and break through that.
High Mighty Miner trying to protect that Furnace. Furnace does not stay alive.
My goodness.
And a Piggy spawns to get even more damage on that right-hand tower. Adriel's down a game and down damage here in an elimination moment.
Mighty Miner does cross the bridge. We do see the Zappies. And I like this placement of the Zappies. Just high and centralized, kind of not allowing Adriel to go for a poison and get that tower damage.
Whoever loses this match will be sent home with $20,000, just like Ian was. Winner moves on to get at least $40,000.
Doubling the cash has got to be a big, you know, reason to be nervous here. I don't blame them, but I mean, we talk about it, you know, when we do interviews on like Mo, like what are you going to do with the money? He's like, I don't care about the money. I'm here to win. And that's the mindset you have to have if you're either of these players.
Absolutely. Never heard one of these pros talk about that cash prize as the driving force, but you know it's on their mind. As Sandbox has been defending very, very well, about 300 HP in the lead, opposite sides of the board.
Fisherman, will it be able to lock on? Very common idea to take out those glass cannons with the high Fisherman. Evo Ghost, I like the idea to snipe this over the river.
And the guards are there. Mother Witch is there, though, in response. The predictive plays from Sandy. And now Mighty Miner completely useless here with the Zappies behind. Bomb Tower gonna have to put in all the work.
A really strange placement of the Bomb Tower, and the RG does get one shot because of that.
Yeah, you'd think the Mighty Miner stays alive, maybe a little higher, right, Juice?
Yeah, higher to try and keep the Mighty alive, or even more centralized to just let the RG have to walk a little bit further. Either way, you know, Sandbox keeps up the pressure, and Adriel is forced to use the Evo Snowball. That's never what you want to do.
And you're running out of time.
Yeah,
you know, it's okay to maybe use it a little bit earlier in the game, but you've only got 90 seconds left. You're down in damage. That's going to be the best offensive weapon that you have. Again, we talked about controlling pace. Sandbox has been doing that the whole game, while Adriel is rocking the deck that should be doing that for him.
Yeah, it really just seems like he's struggling to defend. He's kind of falling apart at the seams. And, you know, how long is it going to take for him to get that Evo Snowball back in cycle so you can break through the Ghost here?
I'll tell you right now, Juice, it can't take more than 70 seconds, as that's the line that we've just crossed. 1 minute and 5 remains. Adriel fighting for his life. The MVP of day one, as many called him, looking at elimination already.
3 Snowball and Poison, but the General Jerry gets pushed back so that the Evo Skeleton Army defends everything despite the prediction.
And that one Zappy stays alive, finally gets taken out by the Bomb Tower. Mighty Miner up high here to clean up the RG. Another set of Zappies down. More damage coming in here from the Pigs. Adriel cannot figure out a way to get on offense, defend, and deal with the Mother Witch. There we go. Wow. That's actually a lot of damage.
Yeah, damage is coming through, and all of a sudden with 25 seconds, it's a very close game. And I will remind you, Andrew, the Evo Snowball is finally in cycle.
If you know that, Juice, we wonder if Sandbox is able to keep that in mind with all this going on. High Bomb Tower, now that Giant Skeleton He's going to take it out, but not enough time for another RG, is there? There might be, going to bait out the drill. Drill's on the other side of the board. Evo Snowball used defensively. Adriel needs to figure out how to get some damage on tower, and Sandbox does it into the sweep by the South Korean.
I cannot believe what I've just witnessed. I cannot believe it. I think Adriel had it in the bag if he uses that Evo Snowball on offense. I was waiting for that breakthrough moment with Evo Snowball, and I think he had the elixir. I think he was playing too safe, and he overestimated how much damage his poison would do.
Yeah, I don't know if he didn't think he could get back to bomb tower in time or not. Instead, decides to use his best offensive weapon. AC, let's talk to Sandy about the best day maybe in his career.
Congratulations, Sandbox. That was an incredible set. Your RG games are always perfection. How does it feel to make day number 3?
일단 승리 축하드리고요. 이제 3일차로 진출해 주셨는데 소감 어떻습니까?
많은 헤이터들이 저의 실력을 많이 깠는데 증명할 수 있어서 굉장히 행복한 것 같습니다.
I think there were many moments that it challenged me every steps during the game, but I'm very glad that I'm happy to prove myself.
And so, you've been an underdog in some of these games. Does that affect you in any way? And how great is it to prove that you belong?
어떻게 보면은 아직 좀 약자처럼 취급할 수 있지만 이제 여기까지 왔단 말이죠. 이제 왔는데 이거에 대한 이제 제가 당연히 여기 왔다 이런 느낌 드시는지 아니면 뭐 다른 느낌이 드시는지.
이번 연도 연습을 굉장히 많이 했기 때문에 당연한 결과라고 생각합니다.
I think I practiced a lot this year, so I think I deserve to be here.
He absolutely does. The best RG player in the world. Give it up one more time for Samba!
And now guaranteed a 4th place finish at minimum, and a minimum of $40,000 is Sandbox, who has now made this the best World Finals in his career. Juicy, that was such a clean set by him.
I know, he played so well. He capitalized on his opponent's mistakes. And I just agree with what he said at the end there. He does deserve to be here. He's been my dark horse pick for this tournament for a reason.
True.
He's been grinding. He's very versatile. And I feel like his playstyle really plays in to this meta.
Yeah, and you know, you called it in game number 1. It felt like Adriel was making some nervous mistakes. And I really love that Sandbox goes, not only Evo Royal Ghost, one of the strongest cards in the game right now, but he goes right to Comfort. And that Mother Witch was causing so many problems throughout that entire second game.
Yeah, it's so true. I mean, the prediction on the guards did a great job, but even on defense for the drill, it's always a threat to spawn in piggies, so that Adriel's always overspending to go for the poison, and that just allows Sandbox to apply even more pressure.
Yeah, and overspending was kind of the name of the game for Adriel in this set. We saw it in game 1, throwing logs when he didn't need it, just not quite efficiently using that elixir, which we all know is the key to victory from those Clash Royale notes. And so while Adriel is sent home with a nice check of 20K, you could see our final 4, Cal Sub, Pedro, best friends in the upper bracket having to face off against one another. And then down below, Cal Sandbox going up against the GOAT, trying to make it to the first ever 3-time world champion. And this is an incredible showing for the Brazilians, for Mo, for the South Koreans. This is just such a great day for all these guys.
Yeah, I mean, last year we talked all about the Battle of Brazil, and now this is the true battle here. When I was interviewing Pedro, he said, you know, it means a lot to be the best from his country, so I think he's going to be going all in. On the other hand, you know, Sub literally just beat Muhammad Light, so I think both of these players have a really good chance to win this battle.
So going Mo Light and Sandbox next, we're going to give Sandbox a little bit more time to prepare to get ready, as he obviously just came off stage. Mo's had a little bit of extra time, so in the meantime, we're going to go give some love to our other language casters. Rich, who do we got?
Just like every year, this game is worldwide, and we have casters from all over the planet walking by our Spanish language stream over here with Revel and former pro player Bale. on to our official Portuguese cast. Oh yeah, look at that, R-Tube and longtime coach Alan here in the building. And oh, look at that, bienvenue to France, our French language stream, Royale and Lemon Tea of our first ever CRL season, live with the French community. And now this was supposed to be our former friends from the Portuguese cast, Bruno and Deco, but as you can see, it's been taken over by two people who you'll be seeing tomorrow. Oh, look at that. Pedro and Sub live on stream with the Portuguese-speaking community in Brazil and beyond. Of course, we also have German, Italian, Indonesian, Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Arabic. Oh my gosh, we are worldwide and we love it. Thanks to everyone who's streaming this, whether you're doing it on your own channel or doing it for your community at home. We appreciate you and we love Clash Royale.
Hello everybody, I'm Andrew Guy and I'm here with Sandbox from South Korea, of course, a guy that doesn't really need much of an introduction, but you are part of the CAL organization. So you guys are the organization with the most representation here at the tournament with Sub and Pedro. What kind of prep have you done with them? And have the three of you guys worked together to get you prepared for World Finals?
칼, 서비랑 페드로 같은 팀이기도 하고 최근 들어서 연습도 많이 하고 저보다 지금은 더 잘하는 선수들인 만큼 연습하면서 더 많이 배우고 있는 것 같습니다.
It's a great answer. It actually leads into my next question, which is, you know, since you are on such a strong team of strong players, what do you feel like you bring to the table as an individual and as a teammate?
2022년에 제가 월드 파이널을 이 팀에서 했지만 그 다음 연도 2023년, 2024년에 팀을 떠나면서 성적이 안 좋아졌고 그래서 다시 복귀해서 성적이 좋아져서 월드 파이널에 복귀할 수 있었던 것 같습니다.
It's a very good answer. I like that. That's a good confidence. Since it has been a couple of years since you've been at World Finals, what do you think has changed from 23, 24 to now coming back in 2025?
확실히 그 전 연도보다 자신감이 더 얻은 것 같고 현재 최고의 선수 모하메드 라이트 선수와 연습을 하면서 그 선수한테 많이 배웠던 것 같습니다.
And you said that you wanted to face off against Mohamed Light in the finals.
Sure.
How come?
그와 붙게 되면 다른 선수들에 비해서 워낙 저보다 잘하는 선수이기 때문에 게임을 할 때 워낙 재밌기도 하고 그와 플레이하면 약간 웃음이 나는 것 같습니다.
Yeah, to be the best, you got to beat the best. So is there anything that you'd like to say to the people supporting you back home?
응원해 주시는 만큼 기대보다 배드리도록 하겠습니다.
Well, good luck. 감사합니다 for the interview. And I'll see you.
See you.
Who's first? Sandbox?
We're down to our final four. And these next two want to be the last three. First up, can his Cinderella story continue? Please welcome once again, Sandbox! And his opponent has been here before. The king of lower bracket runs, the pharaoh of Clash Royale. Can he make it to number 3? Mohamed Light!
Out of the frying pan and into the fire. No rest for the wicked as Mo Light and have to come on stage after just fighting their lives. Changed since yesterday when Sandbox fell to Mohamed Light. Since then, he's gone on a run here in the lower bracket, taking out Sam, Mugi, Adriel, and now going up against the GOAT himself in Mo Light. He looks like a man reborn.
Yeah, I mean, Sandbox, look, that's a gauntlet right there. I mean, you do not want any of those players. I mean, even doing that on ladder is going to be kind of annoying. To do that on the world stage, getting those guys and then beating all of them to make it to Mohamed Light, there's so much respect that needs to be given to Sandbox. I mean, that is unbelievable. You shouldn't be able to beat all those guys in succession.
The only man that's had his number this entire weekend. Can Sandbox turn that story around? His fans right there with those Korean signs, obviously hoping that that's the case. But a tall order, a tired Mohamed Light, looks like he's dialed in and maybe even almost a little bit annoyed he has to be in the lower bracket.
Yeah, I mean, Mohamed Light, you know, he's annoyed, but at the same time, it doesn't really matter to him. As long as he has a fighting chance, he's going to be able to throw all those haymakers. And I mean, this is going to be just such a phenomenal matchup. Sandbox, just absolutely on fire. Mohamed Light on the other side, just absolutely a beast.
Yeah, I mean, and it's so difficult now to think about making decks against Mohamed Light. You know that he's going to be looking for RG, him and Alinar, after the dominance was there from Sandbox. Sandbox also ran the same deck that Mo Light created. Well, an off version. He dropped the E-Wiz, pulled in the Dark Goblin, I believe. Or no, the Skellies, I think is what it was
yeah,
instead.
he had the Dark Goblin, yep.
But here you see Mohamed Light, 85%, Sandbox 15%. But as we all know, Sandbox being the underdog hasn't affected him all weekend. The self-confidence, knowing that he can do it, the confidence that he gets from his coach, from his fans. He is on a roll right now, AC. What does he need to do? What do you do in this situation when you're going up against the greatest of all time, fighting for third place?
Yeah, I mean, there's going to be a lot that you have to figure out right there. And I feel like he went way quicker than I would have. I would have taken all the time in the absolute world. But I mean, look, Sandbox is a brilliant player. I consider him either top 2, top 3 best RG players. I'd like to see RG in one of these games.
Let's see what we said here in the caster's booth. Did any of us break away? Did Juicy break away? That's what I really want to know. AC going Mo Light. I went Mo Light. I'm assuming Rich might have switched it too. He also likes to, be the dark horse pick. We all did it. Okay. Well, Sandbox has done some incredible stuff over the last couple days. Doesn't seem to change our opinion or the audience's opinion. And I want to elaborate on something that you just said a second ago. He didn't take all the time. So, obviously we have a set time in between matches here, but when you have to go back-to-back matches, they're allowed a little bit extra time. Sandbox did not take all. Hey, big shout out there to some Super Cellians and Donald there. A lot of love for those guys here representing Clash Royale for Supercell. Love to see them in the crowd. But Sandbox, as you said, he didn't take the fully allotted time that you're allowed between games when you go back-to-back. I love that level of confidence, just like you.
Yes, I love it. So many players would have taken all the time in the world, but look, if you know you have 3, 4, 5 different decks, it feels like he knows that he's going in with 5 decks total. And it's like, these 5, I can beat whoever's in front of me. I'm going to try and use this in the correct way where I get the right matchup, but it doesn't matter. I'm Sandbox, I'm gonna beat whoever's in front of me.
Well, let's see if he can pull off the biggest part of his run here. Can he complete the trifecta of world champions? Sandbox, Mo Light, lower bracket, 3rd, 4th place. Let's go.
Fire Spirit gets the jump with the Goblin Staves and towers down at 2485. A phenomenal, you take a look at the cards that are played. Goblin Barrel, Fire Spirit, Guards, Bar Barrel, he should be receiving no damage. Instead, he's receiving a lot of damage. And a 200 HP lead and King Tower activation for Cal Sandbox.
Wallbreaker split in the back. Sandbox definitely going away from what he usually plays. Gets the vines in. Damage kind of done there. Would have loved a little bit more, but Mo doing a great job of, you know, this is so funny. We actually had a conversation with Molite earlier today about how he is so good at knowing exactly where barrels are and the mind games that come with that. Sandbox already throwing to left. Mo there catching with a card instead of having to use his barb barrel.
Yeah, pretty aggressive vines right there, but gets a lot of damage. Dark Goblin again going in with these incredibly aggressive vines. And look, what we're seeing in CRL is aggression is okay. You can be aggressive, and we're not really used to that from previous years.
And Mo a little frustrated, you can see by the aggression that is being thrown his way, but the lack of counter push and the lack of elixir lead that you would hope to get when your opponent is that defensive. Mo's taking a lot of damage. He doesn't have anything to show for it at the moment. And the double barrel in, plus the wall breakers.
And again, getting aggressive, and again, both hitting. Berserker going crazy on the right side. We can't even talk about that because the left side is down to 11-15.
And you see kind of a gasp on Mo's face and a gasp from the crowd here. Just taking so much damage here as we tick in to the final minute of regulation. Aggressive Fire Spirit at the bridge baits out the Evo Tesla because he can't take more damage.
I mean, this is just a new way to play this matchup. Here we go, Muhammad Light trying to reset. We're in double elixir, and that's going to be a very expensive play, but he's able to catch everything, the Dark Goblin and the cannon.
Berserker needs to put damage in right now. Firecracker connects on top of the tower too, and that is a huge moment for Mo Light. Firecracker still alive, doesn't get a second shot on tower. 12:39, 11:15. Another Hog Rider comes in. This should be nice cleanup here for Sandbox. A bit of an overspend there by Mo. A great vines.
Right there, Bar Barrel going to be able to perfectly predict, gets the Goblin Barrel cleaned up very nicely, and Sandbox still has the lead, but what was 1,500 is now down to 100.
12:39, 11:15, now getting into overtime. Sandbox thinking about keeping pressure up in the opposite lane. Berserker and Dark Goblin working down the right-hand side. Barrel goes left on the inside. Mo can see it from a mile away.
Yeah, I believe that was just one tile too far into the middle. Yeah. It made it a little bit too obvious. Firecracker plus E-Spirit going to be able to block one of the wall breakers from getting into the tower, but not enough. Evo Valk on defense, and now, after such a strong start, Muhammad Light takes the lead.
Yeah, evening things up is Mo, and right back on offense. Gonna have to use the vines up high. Sandbox knows that's gonna line up the Firecracker. Now the Hog's gonna get on top of tower, and as quickly as Sandbox started this game, Muhammad Light finishes it.
I mean, after those first couple minutes, Muhammad Light really turned it on. He understood what he was supposed to do. He's not going to place too many troops together. He's going to, you know, over-defend at certain times. Sometimes it was a Mighty Miner plus Bar Barrel plus E-Spirit. He's doing all these things that he wasn't really used to doing. And I just love the fact that he was able to figure it out. That was a new way to play a matchup.
And this is where things get really tough. Not only does Sandbox's coach like to go beat down after dropping game one, Sandbox also obviously a great RG player. That is his comfort. And that's something that you do not want to have to play right now. You don't want to have to go to RG. You don't want to have to be predictable at all in this moment, being down a game. He went unpredictable in game one, but that means his opponents are going to be looking for his comfort to stay alive in the tournament. So I think he's going to have to get even more crafty here in game two, maybe steal some confidence, and then pull out his comfort in game three, but we'll have to see. AC, what are your thoughts on these decks and how they were run?
Yeah, I mean, Sandbox, it's definitely a new way to play the game. I thought it was so incredibly aggressive in the first 2 minutes. Those vines, every single time, it just caught him by surprise, caught him lacking. And once it got into double elixir, that's when Muhammad Light was really able to turn it on. I think the matchup advantage is probably like very favorable for Muhammad Light. We saw once it hit double elixir, he could just build those pushes, get those lightnings down. I mean, Lightning really is kind of the unsung hero that we've seen this tournament.
I mean, absolutely. There's been so many times we've been talking about how the player wishes they may have had Lightning at their disposal, how that would have made the matchup that much better. And Sandy running this deck that is very popular on ladder right now, but it's a little bit different. It has Evo Royal Ghost, it has Rascals. He decided to go Evo Valkyrie, maybe trying to save Evo Royal Ghost for later on in this lineup, not trying to burn all the best cards in game number 1. Again, I really enjoy that he went with going a bit unpredictable, and I love the aggression, but you imagine he's going to hold some pause now going into game number 2.
Yeah, I really like the Evo Ghost call. I think Evo Ghost would have, I mean, really worked wonders, especially if you're going to get as crazy as you were in that game. Maybe that would have been just a little bit better. You still have the Berserker. We've talked about, you know, if you don't have a ton of tanks with these kind of bait quick cycle decks, but I like getting crazy. You're going against Muhammad Light. You have to pull something out that's new.
Yeah, and Sandbox there at the end of the game just making a few too many mistakes in terms of allowing that Firecracker, Evo or not, to connect on tower. Can he turn it around in game 2? Or will be sent home as 4 in the world, and Momo continues his lower bracket run. Game 2, final match of the day. And a high Archer Queen to start. And the aggression doesn't stop in game 2 for Sandbox. Poison on Valk, poison on the Hut, Queen ability in, down just 1 elixir. Mo cycles a Snowball.
Snowball forces out the Ice Spirit from Sandbox to protect the tower. Ice Spirit plus Miner not going to get any damage because of the brilliant Berserker placed just in time by Muhammad Light. And again, we're seeing Drill plus the Bomber forces out the Bar Barrel on defense on the Bomber. And the Ghost plus Skellies, that's going to be a little bit of damage. 1 little Goblin Stab on top of the tower, getting it down to 2852.
And Royal Ghost working down the left-hand side.
Can't catch it once again. Berserker to the right, Valk to the left.
Yeah, very interesting for Sandbox to just go minor poison control here, thinking that he can outplay Mo in the micro. And he does have some good responses for the Drill, the Barrel, the Skellies, the Ice Spirit, the Royal Ghost, all going to be great ways to kind of keep it at bay. And of course, the Miner, always going to be hard to pick up, but some good responses for Muhammad Light.
Bomber doesn't get the second shot, so it is going to force out another card in response. Berserker comes down. Sandbox is going to try and clean that up nicely. And an interesting Goblin Hut, placing it as high as he did. I'm not sure how I feel about it. I think that's just another thing that I'm learning. I get it. You're trying to get a little bit aggressive and get some more value that you usually don't. So I like the play. I really do.
Yeah, you're hoping that you're Spear Goblins. And there it is. We talked about this play yesterday when AC and I were on, when Juicy and I were on broadcast. That's the play. You go Drill, you go Rocket, takes the Ghost out of play, and then you get the Evo Snowball in. I love that they just pulled that off after we talked about it yesterday.
See Muhammad Light a little bit upset. One of the interactions not going his way. Most of the other ones doing so, though, and both towers very close to each other, but I mean, really, that's okay if you're Muhammad Light. The Drill plus the Rocket, that's an easy 1200 HP worth of damage once he gets the triple elixir. And there we go, getting very aggressive. A lot of these Drill Rocket players wait a little bit longer, but he knows how good his defense is, and he's okay with doing it.
1670 down, and knows that the Bar Barrel or Skellies, anything that gives Rocket value is going to come down there with the Royal Ghost on the opposite side of the board. 2113, 1670. Is the same lane the way to go for the rest of this bout for both these guys, AC?
Yeah, I think you have to, but it really is close. I'm surprised that he went Archer Queen opposite lane, but I believe it's getting a lot of value. Should be able to get 2 swings on top of the tower, and we are going to see that. I mean, Sandbox putting in a lot of work, getting a lot of pressure on these towers.
Really nice Ice Spirit just a moment ago from Mo, right as the Archer Queen popped her ability. And that should be a reset. Couple shots in, 3 shots in on that left-hand side, and things are even once again.
Yeah, right there. Go to the back. The Valkyrie went to the back. And the Royal Ghost gets on tower.
And that's going to happen again, getting the tower down to 647.
And Sandbox screams back into this battle, almost eliminated, now in the lead.
Muhammad Light, it would have been better not to place a troop at that point, getting the tower down to 463. Evo Valk not understanding its priorities And right there, Snowball gonna provide a little bit of value, but 1390, 463, this is looking like it's insurmountable.
Nice pause there on the Skellies, making sure he doesn't give Mo too much value. Drill goes to the front. Hut's there, AQ's there. Rocket comes in, Poison goes out. 50 seconds remain. This is a foot race, and Sandbox has the lead.
Right there, Miner forces out the Snowball. It is gonna activate King Tower. Very nice looking play, and technically there's still some sort of opportunity.
That Hut being used now, knowing that his opponent is happy to rocket away, but he has the lead, is such an interesting way to defend. But it really paints Mo into a tough spot. And there you go. We're going to game 3. And the crowd rooting for the underdog.
It is amazing the storylines that Grit created over these tournaments. And Sandbox, you know, he's always going to have his fans. There's a lot of people that love him before this tournament. He's one of the OGs. He's been here for a while. But it's so nice to see new fans recognize what they're seeing in front of them. And that's what we're seeing here.
I mean, you earn fans when you pull off what he has done this weekend. And you can hear the cheers have gotten louder and louder and louder for him every next game that he shows up. And that was such a beautiful comfort. I mean, it looked like he was dead in the water.
Yeah. And I was saying on broadcast, yeah, I wouldn't go opposite lane. Why would you do that? And oh, that's why, because you get to create so much pressure. I mean, it was the split lane pushes. You have the Archer Queen. I mean, the push was Archer Queen. That's all it was.
Yep.
And that was enough to just create havoc.
You know, maybe in a normal situation or in some situations, it might be better to go in that same lane, but I think Sandbox was recognizing there was no way to to surpass what had been going on. It was unsurmountable. So what does he do? He starts going opposite lane, hoping that maybe an interaction goes his way or Mo makes a mistake. And while it wasn't really quite a mistake, it was just a great miner to the back, great lane for things to connect, and all of a sudden the Royal Ghost Evo, which is what we talked about in game 1, he saved it, right? That bait deck that he ran in game number 1 usually has that Evo Ghost. He saves it for game 2, which saves his game 2.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely was the play of the game to go the miner in the back, force the Evo Valve to go inside. I mean, that was perfection. That was a top 3 play because, I mean, everything that's on the line right there, and you're going to be able to pull that off, I mean, just beautiful.
And the Evo Valk is going to be the perfect cleanup for everything that was coming down the lane, but it just needed to be a few tiles higher. Evo Royal Ghost on tower, Poison Rocket race throughout, and I really liked, again, what Sandbox was doing. He goes, okay, you're going to drill, I'm going to play the Goblin Hut in front of the tower, so you're going to rocket, but no matter what, that Snowball isn't going to be as impactful. The Evo Snowball isn't going to do its job, so then I can defend cheaply throughout, whether it's, you know, in the Ice Spirit and then the late Skellies. Sandbox had a few times where he kind of waited for the very last second for Mo to respond. There was a moment earlier when he didn't hit the AQ ability and he baited out a Berserker. Yes. There at the very end, he didn't drop the Skellies. He waited for the Snowball, then drops the Skellies. I love that even with this much going on, he's still able to take a breath, take a moment, and realize, I can't do play A, I can't do play B, I gotta do play Z to get past Mo.
And that's exactly what happened in game number 2, but now here it is. Everything on the line, game 3 underway, Sandbox and Mohamed Light.
Mohamed Light, the only former world champion left in the mix. The only person able to get that 3-time championship. Does it come to an end here? Does Sandbox make this the greatest run of his career? It already has been.
Nice little Fire Spirit, going to be able to hop onto the Inferno Dragon and the Fisherman. And does he get any time? He doesn't, but this is an interesting interaction.
Things getting a little ugly here for Mo. That Executioner is tanking the Snowball, and that's gonna get on tower, and I think he still has a dash. He still has a dash.
Right there, Boss Bandit chipping away at the tower. 3 shots, almost a 4th. Gets the tower down to 1657. Perfection of a start for Sandbox. How does he want to respond to the Inferno Dragon? You knew it was going to be a great response. Guards forcing out a 2 elixir log, so 1 elixir to stop that Inferno Dragon.
And the Inferno just gets a little sizzle on that tower. 4 cards played for Sandbox, and the tower was already down to 1600. Guards come out as the 5th. He takes a lick of damage, 2976, 1657, working in the same lane.
Wow.
Heal Spirit in both decks. Wow.
I we are probably not going to see that for a while. Sandbox pretty low though, and you see him shake his head because, I mean, this is a lot coming down the lane. These Heal Spirit decks, as funky as they are, they can put in work, especially with this Inferno Dragon.
I think Mo just recognized Sandbox spent a little too much, and that is a perfect lightning, my goodness. But down a lot of elixir is Sandbox. Ticking to 8 is Mo, ticking to 4 is Sand. How does Mo want to punish?
Yeah, luckily going into double elixir, so not the end of the world for Sandbox, but definitely not a good situation either. And both of these players just coming up with something new.
Talk about that lightning being a lifesaver, Josh. That was such a great lightning time by Sandbox to stop what would have been a tower-taking push. And the Evil Royal Ghost gets kited over to the right-hand side, and I don't know if that's what Mo wanted. RG down, 6 elixir to defend. Boss Bandit making work on the right-hand side still.
Yeah, and I don't know what he has for this.
The Heal
Fireball
Spirit
plus the Ghost, the Heal Spirit putting in work.
The Ghost goes down! I mean, excuse me, the Exi goes down, and Sandbox is now finding himself in a similar situation as game number 1.
I mean, these Boss Bandits, they're getting value, but it's just not enough. That's the problem with the 6 elixir card. As good as it is, as much value as it gets, sometimes it's just not enough. In this game, it's just difficult. He's not setting up the right pushes. Muhammad Light is just controlling the arena after that opening start.
And now the Evo Exi here to clean things up. Ram Rider finally comes down to slow the RG. This should be a relatively nice cleanup. Goes for the Zappies in the middle. Mo plays with the left-hand side. Great defensive play there by Mo.
You almost wonder if Mo is nodding his head because he respected the prediction or if he was just happy it didn't work out. And right there, Zappies plus Ghost. Ghost is going to disappear and respawn with a little bit more ghouls. There it is.
And now needs to stop this RG.
He hit
yesterday.
Okay.
Evo. Oh, and it still gets a shot in. Fireball on the furnace.
This is
and
looking
this
like
should
it's
do
over.
It. This should do
it.
It
gets there.
Mo Light stays alive, and Sandbox's dream run finally comes to an end from the GOAT. The fans on their feet, loving this moment. Respect on the stage between these two great competitors. And while Sandbox is probably happy about how today went, a bitter end to a wonderful run. Mo was tired earlier. Rich, tell me how he's feeling now.
Mohammed, you're seemingly just addicted to the lower bracket, and you keep on running through here. Now, I saw something people didn't. After your loss in the previous round, you had a short conversation with your mom over on the side, who I know is your biggest supporter. Can you share with us any of what that conversation was like?
Well, she just wanted to make sure that I eat something for the next game. And, well, she got me some chips, and I guess it helped.
All right, let's give it up for Mo's mom. Come on. That's a good mom. That's a good mom. We all know. There she is. I want to ask you about Game 3 here, because you came out with this Royal Giant deck with the Inferno Dragon and Heal Spirit, and Sandbox got a little smile and nod. You didn't see it in the first opening seconds. What was behind that deck pick for Game 3?
I shouldn't say this, right? Right? Should I say why I picked the deck?
Okay, your coach is saying no, which makes me want to know. All right, I'll ask Alan later behind the deck. You've been here before so many times. Tomorrow is the World Championship, and you have your back against the wall. What do you do tonight to get ready to come out and try to go for championship number 3?
I think the most important thing for me is to sleep well and eat well before the match, because before subs game I got some food, but this food was very bad, so I didn't eat it. So I was hungry, so I didn't play very well. So I'll make sure to be well fed.
All right, well, you know he'll eat well because Mama Light will take care of him. Everybody, one more time, Muhammad Light.
The best
thing about being the GOAT is you could just say whatever you want on the stage and everybody's going to eat it up. And yeah, big shout out to Mama Light over there making sure her boy's fed. And that feeding did well here as Sandbox really came out and just punched him in the mouth almost every single one of those games. And we've talked about throughout this entire weekend how aggression has paid off a lot of the time. But you're talking about going up against Mohamed Light. If you're gonna be aggressive, you gotta be smart. And Sandbox found himself wanting for Elixir numerous times.
Yeah, I mean, he won the first 3 rounds, but you know, it's a 6-round game. So Mohamed Light was able to bring it back in all the games, all the sets, and he was able to win game number 3 and win that set. Heal Spirit in both decks. I thought that was just so interesting. Mohamed Light coming in with the RG Heal Spirit Zappies. Man, I almost want to say it's a little bit selfish to not hear the inner thoughts, the inner workings of those two working together, because, I mean, that deck in game number 3 is just so brilliant.
Well, yeah, and you got to talk about, you know, the coaching once again. We've shouted out Alan as Alan's been shouting out in the crowd. But one of the biggest things about this is Alan knows GameSaver likes to run bridge spam in game 3. And that's a version of what we saw there. So not only maybe having his number, but playing through it was Mo Light and his coach together. And that was just an exceptional best of 3, a great way to end their day. And then there were 3, the best friends in the upper bracket, and the GOAT lurking down below looking for championship number 3. A lot of money to be given away tomorrow. We have our big prizes, the $200,000 prize, the $100,000 prize, and of course the $50,000 prize. Every single match is worth so much. And while today was a wonderful day for some, a lot were sent home. Igor, Vitor, Lucas, Mugi, Adriel, Ian, and now finally Sandbox, after his Cinderella run here in 2025, takes a seat and will be in the crowd tomorrow.
Sub, Pedro, Mohamed Light left. I mean, Pedro, obviously, we've seen him finish top 3 before. Sub, we've seen him finish so well last year at the previous World Finals, and then Mohamed Light, we don't. I mean, come on, he's just, it's a constant. He's just there all the time.
And Sub may be the scariest man in the mix right now after what we saw him do against Mo Light earlier today. Yep. Obviously, Mo Light is still the absolute best in the world, and we saw him come back in that set. Even though he took game 1, still able to fight through it. AC, we're back same time, same place tomorrow. Any closing thoughts from you on this spectacular day 2?
Yeah, I mean, another huge shout out to the city of Atlanta putting together this incredible event. This has been absolutely wonderful. I mean, and I just have to give so much props to these pros. So time and time again, it's like, okay, you know, there was a mistake here, there's a mistake there. We're coming up with new ways to approach this game, which with what we just saw from Sandbox, and he was the loser. I mean, we're learning things from the players that are losing. Imagine what we're going to be able to see tomorrow for day number 3.
Tomorrow's the big day, best of 5s only. 3 people remain, a lot of money on the line. Will we see the first ever 3-time champ or a new champion from all of us here at DreamHack Atlanta in the CRL 2025 World Finals? We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow.
Friday with my girls in line, lip gloss on and a little wine. I'm telling the story of the night that I saw you. Textbook cool in a crowd of friends. I don't even know, I don't know your name. I don't mind, I'll do the chasing, I'll play the game. Hey you, you're the one with the eyes that likes to party. Hey you, with a queue full of girls so sweet and charming. Hey you, best mates with a mirror, don't get me started. Don't get me started. Give me a number, or give me a sign. Hit send XX, no pictures, mine. I can tell your name, you think you're fine. You're cute enough for me tonight. I can't even keep my plants alive, so you better watch out if you wanna survive. You better play nice, you better act fine, or we'll drop you, boy. That's right, bye bye. I take a drink, I'm moving in. Fix a step for the power trip. I'm not gonna shut down. This is my playground. Textbook cool when I finally say I don't even know, I don't know your name. I don't mind, I'll do the chasing, I'll play the game. Hey you, you're the one with the eyes that likes to party. Hey you, with a queue full of girls so sweet and charming. Hey you, best mates with a mirror, don't get me started. Don't get me started. Give me a number, or give me a sign. Hit send XX, no pictures, mine. I can tell your name, you think you're fine. You're cute enough for me tonight. I can't even keep my plants alive, so you better watch out if you wanna survive. You better play nice, you better act fine, or we'll drop you, boy. That's right, bye bye. Give me a number, or give me a sign. Hit send XX, no pictures, mine. I can tell your name, you think you're fine. You're cute enough for me tonight. I can't even keep my plants alive, so you better watch out if you wanna survive. You better play nice, you better act fine, or we'll drop you, boy. That's right, bye bye. Hey you.
I'm pushing the limit. I'm pushing the limit. I'll take it as far as I can go.
So let's go. Whoa. I'm working overtime and I do it right. I never stop that grind, keep me up at night. You'll hear me coming from a mile away. I'm out here every day, I didn't come to play. No, I see you looking at me, I know what you're thinking. You see my phone is going off, it's always ringing. Cause everybody wants a piece of me. Everybody wants me. I'm always on the go, go, go. Never and I'll make sure that you know, yeah, yeah, that I'm in control. I'm pushing the limit. I'm a boss, yeah, I'm fully in it. You can't take me out cause I'm on top and I'm making it loud. I'm pushing the limit. Make 'em fall in line by the minute. You can't take me out cause I'm on top and I'm making it loud. I'm pushing the limit. I'm pushing the limit. I'll take it as far as I can go. Now everyone knows my name, and they know that no one else is the same. Cause when I step foot in this place, everybody is doing it my way. I'll be a king and a queen, I'll be whatever. in the back playing cornhole. Yeah, we got enough to eat, we got enough to drink. And you know my girls get loco. I feel amazing, top of the charts. Everyone I walk past, feeling the spark. Yeah, you heard about me, word of mouth. Now soak it in, baby, and check me out. Soak it in, and check me out.
We don't have resignations, I mean, and I don't think that's what Sub would do anyway. And what we've joked about in the past, maybe the first match of the tournament, but then even then in the lower bracket, you know he can always go on a run. Sub's a guy, though, that is able to keep the nerves contained. You know, he's a guy that's very calm, cool, collected. We saw that yesterday, and it really worked out well against someone that was as aggressive as Frontier Guard. Now you need to do it against the person that knows when to be aggressive, when to be defensive, and has every interaction in the game locked down better than anyone else that's ever played the game.
Yeah, I mean, if you were to make a Clash Royale quiz with like 100 of the hardest interactions that only the top 0.001%, you just know Mohamed Light's getting 98 out of 100. He's getting that A+ every single time. Obviously, one of the most brilliant players, one of the most talented players. And let's get into our first game. Sub, Mohamed Light. Game number 1.
Day 2, can Sub pull off the upset? It's gonna be tough.
Mohamed Light, the inventor of wall breakers, split behind the King Tower, and that's what we're gonna see. I think he introduced that in one of the other World Finals. It's just one of those things. He'll find stuff that nobody else is willing to.
And really like to see Momo go in control here. It looks like it's gonna be kind of a mirror matchup, and Mo already getting some good damage on tower. You can see that's already getting in Sub's head.
Yeah, Sub quite annoyed that he was giving up that damage. The Mighty Miner walks incorrectly, and it allows the opposing Mighty Miner for Mohamed Light to get some chip damage on the tower. Somewhat big push, but Mohamed Light is going to clean that up easily and only take a few hundred damage.
And this is incredibly similar, if not the exact deck that Mo was able to go 80 and 4 in 4 separate 20-win challenges. He did it with the Ice Wiz, Evo Skelly's Miner Wall Breakers control deck. And that's going to be a nice ability there from Sub, and a nice kite as well.
Yeah, gorgeous play from Sub. He's obviously very, very talented. Gets the right pop from the Mighty Miner, and then distracts with the wall breakers. Perfection from Sub.
23-28 to 28-56. Mo Light firmly in the lead. Not happy about how close that Mighty Miner is because of that right there. A bit of a waste of a Goblin Hut, but still going to require a response.
And we see him give like a slight smile just because he knew that the right Spear Goblin was going to go in front. It was going to allow the left Spear Goblin to get a little bit of chip. It just immediately he understood what he was seeing.
Well, they know who's boss. And Sub goes to the back here. Completely uncontested Miner. See if Mo wants to punish back.
A very beautiful prediction right there. The bar barrel as well. You know that Mohamed Light was just ready for that, but those minions are going to clean up nicely. I mean, even though he got predicted, it really wasn't the end of the world.
And we see Mighty Miner in the back, cycled on the left-hand side. Now, Miner goes to the inside with the poison. That is an exceptional poison. Taking out the Evo Skellies, taking out the Goblin Hut, and now we find Sub in the lead. First time so far in this game.
Yeah, Miner distracting the Spirit Goblins, having them set up on the right side, and Minion was able to take that out with the hope of the poison, and right there, late pop of the ability, but it's going to work. It's going to kill the minions.
Evo Skellies come in, poison on top for Mo here. Clean everything up, 1927, and they're just going to play this game back and forth. Wall breakers, though, uncontested. Does the bomb go off in time? It does. Mo happy about that. You can see a little smile and nod to himself.
Yeah, you hear the crowd erupt as well. Nobody was really sure what was going to happen right there.
I mean, the crowd, in this crowd, there are hundreds of thousands of hours of Clash Royale played, and you're watching a guy that is a magician, a surgeon at work.
And right here, I mean, after the slow start for Sub, after taking 500 damage, he is now taking the lead. Sub has done a brilliant job of getting himself back in this game.
Mighty Miner ability, Evo wall breakers behind, and it doesn't, he messes up the sequencing. This is what I'm talking about. Sub can always stay in it. He looks not shaken by that Mighty Miner in the very beginning, and as you were just saying, AC, he's been able to bounce back this entire game, and now is firmly in the lead in a mirror match.
Yeah, the difference between the Cannon and the Goblin Hut has been instrumental to his success. I mean, the Goblin Hut, it's just too bulky. He's not able to get it properly. Another Mighty Miner, that time he gets it brilliantly, but 1455 forces out a response from Sub, and you know him, Mr. Consistent. He's not messing up that interaction.
Yep, you know he's on top of those skellies, not going to get overwhelmed by other things going on the board, keeping up the pressure. Wall breakers don't get in front of the bar, but Mighty Miner comes over on that side, has to turn around anyway. 1455, 689, Sub in control.
Right there, Bar Barrel going to be able to clean up the Ice Whiz nicely. Minions in tow going to be able to clean up the Miner as well. So 689, he needs just a little bit more damage before he can start going poison, poison, poison.
Mo putting some pressure on that right-hand side, baits out a Mighty Miner, uses the ability, then goes opposite lane. 542, 1308. Sub catches the Miner.
Sub, all the elixir in the world, he's able to get the cannon down in time, going to be able to stop those wall breakers. And here we go. This is where it starts. 30 seconds left. He's going to go Miner, poison, cycle.
427, 1026, 24 seconds remain. Sub just needs to not make a huge mistake here. Mighty Miner getting kited back on the left-hand side. Poison down early, cannon up high. Mo Light just out of reach, AC, in game one.
Yep, Miner, poison, Miner chipping away, gonna get the tower down to 47. It's over. Sub taking game number one, trying to upset
Mohamed Light, and the crowd with some mixed reactions here. Not sure what really happened. Obviously happy to see a great game, but a lot of them probably rooting for Mo Light.
Yeah.
Sub locked in, dialed in, makes a mistake early on. AC, you've been a pro player. It was some time ago, but you still know the feeling when you make a mistake that early on against someone that good. How do you bounce back the way that Sub did?
Yeah, I mean, you have two ways to go. The first way, which is the way that I often did, was panic, not continue to make those mistakes. But then you have that second one, and that's what really separates these pros. Yes, I made a mistake, but look, I have the cannon, he has the Goblin Hut. How do I use that to my advantage? I can cycle. I can do all the right things. I mean, every single placement was perfect. He was getting predictions on the Evo Skellies. He was just so in control of what his opponent was going to respond with. It felt like that was just it felt like that was Mohamed Light on the other side. He just knew what he was going to do.
I couldn't agree more, and I loved the use of the Mighty Miner from both players. The early cycled Mighty Miners to catch Miners, to use it to take out wall breakers. There was such great predictive gameplay, but Sub was just a couple steps ahead. One time, Mo messes up the sequencing, and the double wall breaker evolution connects, and that was where the game was blown wide open.
Yeah, I mean, those Mighty Miners had 3 jobs every single time they were placed on the map. You had to take out the Miner, then you had to pop the ability to get the wall breakers, then you're trying to protect your wall breakers, and so that's why the cannon was so powerful, because you just need that cycle. You need to get to the next card, you need to get to your next Mighty Miner.
And obviously not a 100% mirror match, but very, very similar there, and it's those small pieces that really do make the big difference, whether it's something like Minions, the Goblin Hut, the cannon, and then really taking advantage of recognizing the position that it puts your opponents in, and then taking advantage of that, and we saw Sub do that time and time again. And just an excellent showing in game one, and I love that he comes out and runs that deck, right? Yep. Mo, that's basically his favorite deck in the game right now. Sub comes out and goes, I'm not scared. You want to do a Miner poison mirror match? I'll meet you there on the hill, brother.
It's just so impressive. I love that deck choice from him in game number one. Obviously, have to give a shout out to his coach, his team, because, I mean, they are a unit. They are a squad together.
Yeah, and just getting ready here for game number 2, just about to go underway. Can Sub pull off a sweep against the GOAT, or will Momo bounce back? Here we go, game 2. And that is a look that we know well from Mohamed Light. We've seen it any time, basically, that he's lost, where he is locked in that next game.
Right there, perfect timing with the log. That 100th of a second, it's always, you just don't know what's going to happen. But right there, just perfection.
We've seen that drill timing be an issue for certain players throughout the competition. Can't imagine Mo will make that mistake